This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Srinivas. So today we'll be starting off with the VLSI front end. There is an echo. Is it? Everyone is seeing the echo?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Give me a minute. I'll join again. It will solve the problem. Just give a minute. Is it better now?
Yes, sir. It's better.
Okay. Thank you. So as I said, we'll be starting off with the demo session. It was supposed to be 9:30. I'm sorry, we got delayed. So today's demo session will be for multiple domains. It will be for VLSI functional verification training. It will be for design and verification training and front-end training. Actually, these three domains are same. It's just that different people refer the same domain in different names. For example, even if you refer ASIC verification training, ASIC verification training, or RTL design and verification training. So all these 5 terms, we are kind of referring to the same course. Okay. Other than that, today's demo session is also for DFT training. Those who have joined for DFT demo, they will be having another demo session at 2 p.m. I mean, I will be dividing my session into 2 parts. Initial part will be focused more on giving you a brief about what is VLSI and how the course structure will be framed, what is the session schedule, everything. And the later part of the training will be more into functional verification and the questions specific to functional verification. I mean, questions specific to these domains. So the initial part of the training, that is from 9:45 a.m. to probably 11:15 a.m. will be common to everyone. Those who are attending DFT training, they will have a demo session at 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. It will be done by the DFT trainer. Those who are attending FPGA training, who want to join FPGA training, again they will have a demo session from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. RTL integration training, based on how many people are interested, accordingly we'll schedule the demo session. So as I said, in summary, I'm going to divide my demo session into 2 parts. One is the basic overview session. I mean, the institute overview, the courses, general concept, general things, and the domain specific training will happen later part of the today's session, which is probably not relevant for these people, the people from DFT, people from FPGA and other domain, right? So Let us understand briefly these 5 terminologies. I mean, why so many terminologies are there? Okay. First of all, when I say VLSI design and verification, when I say ASIC verification training, both are referring to same thing. As you know, VLSI has 2 major divisions. One is ASIC, one is FPGA. As you know that as ASIC stands for what? Application specific integrated circuit. FPGA is what? Field programmable gate array. Now, where do you apply ASIC first? Wherever we have mass production, I mean bulk production, like mobile phone is an example of a bulk production. Even laptop is an example of a bulk production. In all those cases, we go for ASIC. FPGA is mostly the applications where number of the products you want to bring out is less than 1 lakh. I mean, it's limited in number. Like mobile phone sells for almost millions. If you consider throughout the world, each chip sells million. So there, if you go for ASIC, there is a cost reduction. I mean, same thing, what might take, let's say $50 to make, ASIC can do it in probably $15. I mean, because of the bulk production. When you do bulk production, it can reduce the $50 to $15. So which essentially reduces the cost of the final product, ASIC. Okay. But that cost reduction, cost benefit comes only when you go for bulk production. Because amount of the money you invest and the time you spend, resources you spend, the benefit comes only with bulk production. Bulk production means what? More than 1 million. There will be some number. Okay, you can't always say 1 million, you can't say 5 lakhs, you can't say 2 million, right? There is a cutoff point where below that, if you do, it's better to do in FPGA. Now, when it comes to verification, domain, functional verification domain or the front-end domain, both ASIC and FPGA almost have a same thing, because in both the cases you have to understand the design. So you are going to develop a design, you need to understand what is the design, you need to read the specification, you need to develop the code, Verilog code or VHDL code, and you need to verify whether that Verilog or VHDL code is working fine or not. So that won't differ between ASIC and FPGA. The major difference between ASIC and FPGA comes in the backend flow. I mean, once you have proved that RTL is good, RTL stands for what? Register transfer level code, which is nothing but the Verilog code is good. So till the time we develop, Verilog RTL code, both ASIC and FPGA has the same flow, I would say. You'll verify in the same manner, you'll develop in the same manner, everything. Both differ in backend implementation, backend flow implementation. In one case, you have to, I mean, put it onto a FPGA board. I mean, you need to close the timing with respect to the FPGA board. In another case, you have to do specific to the ASIC flow. I mean, the ASIC one, right? So there the flow actually differs. So when we say FPGA training, major part of the training, major part of the RTL coding and things will be common for both ASIC and FPGA. So only FPGA training differs where they do the synthesis and how they put the synthesized netlist onto the FPGA board. Okay, let's not get too much deep into it. Okay, now coming back to this, lot of work happens into ASIC. Actually, I would say almost 80% of the work happens into ASIC. So because of the, what is the only primary benefit why it happens into ASIC? The cost benefit. Everyone wants the same behavior, same product in lower cost. Now, where do you think FPGA will be more suitable? Let's say educational institutions, where if you go to the labs, there will be oscilloscope, different electronics instruments will be there. They will also require chips, right? Some electronics inside that. They don't go for bulk production, right? You can't find 10 million oscilloscopes in the world. So many won't be required, right? Because of the limited number of the colleges we have. And we don't keep oscilloscopes in our houses also. So given that, they decide which one to go with, ASIC or FPGA. Since lot of requirements will be into ASIC, I'm not telling that FPGA don't have requirements. FPGA does have requirements. FPGA is also a good domain to pursue. People kind of mix VLSI and ASIC because of more requirements are into the ASIC, and it essentially becomes a subdomain of VLSI. People use this term ASIC verification VLSI verification as a similar term. Okay, from our training perspective, these 5 terminologies are all same. It all exactly same. Okay, so what are all those trainings? Functional verification training, then design and verification training. Then one place I'm saying functional verification, one place I'm saying design and verification. As part of this course, you are also going to learn designing concepts also, RTL design, how to understand a design, how to implement the Verilog code for the design, then how to verify that design. All those things we are going to understand. So that's why I'm calling it as design verification training. Then VLSI front-end training, because as you might be aware, probably when you might have spoken to our institute, first thing we tell is, do you want front-end or do you want back-end? So you might have got a basic idea about what is front-end, what is back-end. So I will talk about everything now, but I'll be quick. I will not bore you with too many things. We'll quickly get into what is relevant for us. Same thing for ASIC verification training. Then RTL design and verification. RTL design means developing the code. RTL, as I said, stands for what? Register transfer level. The term looks complex, but when you get into Verilog coding, it's very easy. When you start doing some 2-3 examples, the concept of RTL is very easy for you to understand. RTL design is about what? Developing the design. Verification is about verifying that that design is working properly or not. Then what is DFT? I will talk more about that as we go forward. Okay, so FPGA, I will leave it to the other trainer to give you the in-depth overview of that. RTL integration also I will talk about as we go forward. Okay, now let's quickly go through what is VLSI and what are the major divisions in VLSI. Why I won't spend too much time is probably you have gone through some of the videos, probably you have already spoken to us over the phone, right? You will already have an idea, so I don't want to spend a half an hour just talking about all those things again and again. Okay, so VLSI design flow is majorly divided into 12 steps. Now it can be 12, it can be 15. Let's say if I ask you for a house construction, let's say you're constructing a house, how many steps are involved? No, see, someone may say 10 steps, right? Someone may say 15 steps are involved, depending upon how you count the things. See, going to architect is a 1 step, getting architecture diagram is a 1 step, then putting the pillars is 1 step. So everything, I mean, you can divide the same thing, same work into 10 steps, 12 steps, 15 steps based on how you divide the activity. Same way, VLSI flow can be divided into 12 steps or 15 steps based on how you look at each activity. Okay, so here we are not here to debate on how many steps are that. For us, it's not really relevant. It's not relevant. So let us list on the major steps in that. It is first, it starts with understanding the requirements. Okay, maybe many of you have joined for functional verification demo session. I'll be quickly coming to it, okay, because as I said, I need to set the flow. I can't directly start with what is test bench, what is verification. I need to set the flow. I'm just trying to set the flow for the session. So what is the first step in VLSI design flow? Understanding the requirements. Once you have understood the requirements, based on the requirements, these are inputs to design architect. This is done by whom? Marketing team. Every company has a marketing team who figures out what will be the requirements. I mean, I want to come out with a laptop or I want to come out with a mobile phone. What will be the requirement of a mobile phone after 2 years? Because once I visualize this mobile, it will be available after 2 years in the market because it has to go through the various processes. So after 2 years, what will be the requirement? What kind of expectations customers will have, consumers will have? Some features in terms of what kind of speed do they need, what kind of display do they need, what kind of processor do they need, what kind of USB they need. Everything they decide now. Marketing team analyzes. That becomes input to whom? Design architect. What architect does? Architect implements design architecture and top level specifications. Means at top level how it is going to look like, what all subcomponents are there, how they are all connected, That is the kind of requirement he will come up with. So these documents are input to RTL design team. Okay. You can rather say design team. Now, why I just stopped at calling design team? Because there is a physical design team also. You might say, then will it become input to physical design team? No, it will become majorly input to RTL design, because these are the people who develop the Verilog code. These are the people who develop Verilog code. So hence I didn't write design team, because there can be multiple design teams in the same company. So which design team we are talking about? RTL design team. What those people will do? RTL design team reads the architecture, design specifications, and implement Verilog code. What they will do? They will implement the Verilog code. So they have implemented the Verilog code, are also called as RTL code. Now, what is the difference between Verilog? What is the difference between RTL? We'll discuss. RTL is one sub aspect of the Verilog. Okay. Next, this Verilog code needs to be verified. Okay. Before that, actually, what we do is whole design is developed in a structural manner. I mean, hierarchical manner. What is meant by hierarchical manner is, I can't, let's say if I'm given a opportunity to do some work in VLSI, I won't get the complete work of developing the whole laptop. The work will be divided into small teams, I mean sub teams, right? They will develop, all these Verilog codes need to be integrated to get bigger block. Putting together a processor block, putting together display block, putting together some memory controller block, putting together some graphics processing unit, putting together everything, you get the complete laptop chip. This work is called as integration work. You're integrating the things. Finally, all these need to be verified. Whether everything is done properly, whether the Verilog code is done properly, whether the integration is done properly, it needs to be verified. So the Verilog code needs to be verified. Right? Whether has it been coded properly or not. Right? This is done by functional verification engineer. Who does this? This is called as functional verification. Who does the verification? Functional. Why functional? Because he is verifying the functionality. Whatever is implemented, has it been coded properly? Now, what kind of issues he will catch, I will discuss as we go forward. Okay. So once he verified, here comes the major stop. At this stage, we have a working code. We have a code which has been functionally verified. You agree with that? I mean, by the time we reach this stage, we have a code which has been functionally verified and it is proven that it is working fine. This is where the VLSI differs from chip design, differs from software domain. In software domain, what happens is this code goes into the production. What is meant by production? The term production means what? It gets deployed into the final customer place. Let's say I'm developing one banking application. Once I have verified that my C program or Java program or C++ program is functionally working through manual testing or test automation, different modes, different means they verify, they don't have to do anything. They directly need to install that application into the customer application. Whereas when you come to the chip design flow, this is where the things differ. Because if I'm making a mobile phone, I can't sell the Verilog code as a mobile phone. If I go to purchase a mobile phone, the shop owner can't give me Verilog code and tell me that this is the mobile phone and use it. It is not possible, right? Because I need a physical device. What is that physical device finally means? It is the chip that need to be manufactured. So that is where comes a next set of flow called as VLSI backend flow. What is the VLSI backend flow? Is all the steps comprising of RTL code till chip is fabricated is all called as VLSI backend flow. I mean, from the time you take RTL code, see this working RTL code, by the time you reach here, you have the working code. That code need to be finally converted into a small chip. How much chip? The physical layer chip, which is of size 1 square centimeter, or there will be dimensions. They will tell how much should be the chip size. This code need to be converted into this. That process is called as backend. Now there is nothing like a magic. There is nothing like a magic which will convert the code into chip, right? Something someone somewhere has to do. What is again? Someone has to do something which will finally translate that code into a chip, physical chip. So that whole process is called as backend flow. So what is that backend flow has? Let us quickly list down those steps. Backend flow consists of, I think, let me increase the font size. So the backend flow consists of synthesis. What is synthesis? Is we take the RTL code or Verilog code, converting it into gate level representation. Taking the RTL code and converting it into gate level representation is called as synthesis. Okay. Then once it is synthesized, gate level netlist will be very big. Actually, depending upon the complexity of the design, gate level netlist will be very big. How big will be? For a mobile phone example, a mobile phone SoC, mobile phone chip can consist of 1 billion gates. So what is 1 billion we are talking about? 100 crores gates. All these, then comes a step called as physical design. All these gates needs to be put into a small die area. Small die area, that's all. How small is it? Probably 100 square mm, or maybe less than that. 100 square mm. What is 100 square mm? 10 mm this side, 10 mm this side, right? So 1 centimeter, 1 centimeter, even less than that. So imagine now putting so many gates. How many gates? Billion gates into 1 square centimeter. 1 square centimeter. What is that we are talking about?
Excuse me, sir. Why should I change Verilog code into gate level?
Why should we change is because let's do the reverse process, then you'll understand. The question is what? Why should we change the Verilog code into gate level code? Okay. So now finally when you go to, let's say you go to a shop and purchase the mobile phone. What do you purchase? You don't purchase Verilog code, right? What do you purchase? You purchase a mobile. So you purchase the mobile. Before mobile, what it was? It was a chip. It was a chip. Before chip, it was what? It was transistors. It is the transistors which got manufactured, right? It's the transistors which got manufactured. How transistors got manufactured? If you go to little bit of fabrication, the transistors gets manufactured in multiple layers. What is the multiple layers means? Little bit about fabrication. Let's talk. What is the base layer? You have N doped silicon. In that RP doped silicon, whatever it can be N or P based on how you start. Okay. Then you do the etching. Then you create a P well. Then in that you do again N plus doping. Then you do P plus doping. Finally you do, and you put the metal layers, you put metals, you put oxidation, right? With all these things, you are able to manufacture a transistor. I'm talking about CMOS transistor here, right? So if I have all that information, I can manufacture that to make a chip. Once I have a chip, I can convert it into mobile. So finally, what do you require? You require definitely transistors. You require the whole representation in terms of transistors. Those who are new to fabrication, don't worry, because those who are into front-end domain, functional verification domain, don't need to worry about it. I'm just trying to give the basic idea. Okay, why transistors are required, how transistors gets manufactured. Basically here, these are the steps for transistor fabrication. Before they became transistors, what is it? They were logic gates. Only can you convert always block into CMOS transistor? No, right? Directly it's not possible. So in between you need logic gates. Logic gates, I'm talking about what? AND gate, OR gate, etc. I mean NAND gate, NOR gate, multiplexer, flip-flop, many things. They can be converted into transistor. Transistor can be manufactured as a chip. Chip is what? Silicon, right? In silicon, you do the processing, you do the etching, you do the, what is that called as? Lithography, everything, right? Then you have the finally fabricated chip. Before it became logic gates, it was Verilog code. That is nothing but, that is where you need a concept of synthesis, which converts your Verilog code into logic gates. Now the question comes, if you anyway have to convert into logic gates, why don't you directly implement in logic gates? Why can't you? Why do you need to write Verilog code? Writing a logic for 1 billion gates is very difficult. Means the question is what? Why don't we directly start with gates itself, gate level representation? Okay, just to give you a very realistic analysis, if mobile phone is manufactured using direct gate level representation, it will take probably 100 years to make the chip, because it becomes so complex for us to do at the gate level. Now why it takes so complex, it will be covered in Verilog training. When we go to Verilog training, we will understand the difference between Verilog RTL coding, we'll understand the difference between gate level coding. You'll understand the thing, because I don't want to deviate now. It will deviate completely from the demo session. Just remember that starting off at gate level is very difficult. It is like simply imagining the house in terms of bricks. You can't imagine house in terms of bricks, right? What is the best way to imagine the house? Rooms, right? I have 3 floors or 4 floors. Each floor has 4 rooms or 5 rooms. Now imagine understanding the building in terms of bricks. There is a brick here, there is one brick here, there is one brick here. It's very difficult to imagine, right? Same problem happens when you imagine the design at gate level. Gate level representation. So there what we do is, we don't start at gate level. There is a big reason actually. Whatever I said will take 100 years here. With RTL coding, it will finish in 6 months. Because RTL coding is very close to way we talk, like the way I'm explaining you the things. You can develop the code in the same manner. If this happens, do this, else do this. That kind of style can be developed. Then there is this powerful concept called as synthesis, which can convert your Verilog code into gate level representation. Then once you have the gate level representation, what you have to do? You have to make sure that all those billion gates fit into what? 1 square mm or even less, whatever, die area. Now die area, you may be thinking, is always 100 square mm. No, it can be 50 square mm, it can be 10 square mm, it can be 200 square mm also, depending upon what is the complexity of the chip and what is the technology node at which we are working. Are we working at 7 nanometers? Are we working at 10 nanometers? Are we working at 28 nanometers? The chip area can differ. Okay. The physical design engineer divides this billion gates into 2 categories. It is called as macros plus standard cells. So his role is to make sure that everything is placed, everything is connected in such a way that it all fits into a very small area. What small area I'm talking? This much small area. And how many gates need to go into it? 1 billion gates need to go, even more. So there, he can't do everything manually. Can I sit and do manually like a goldsmith does? Here it should come. No, right? He can't sit and do the manual gold kind of work. It has to be done through some kind of tools. So this work is, the physical design is completely highly tool intensive job. What is meant by tool? What is the tool I'm talking about? I'm talking about softwares. More specifically, since they are used for VLSI and they are used for electronic design purpose. They are used for what? Electronic design purpose. They are called as electronic design automation softwares. EDA stands for what? Electronic design automation. We are automating the process of electronic design. We are automating the process of electronic design. So hence these are called as electronic design EDA tools. Okay. This is highly tool intensive job, means he has to use more of tool to decide what to do. He can't do manually, right? Can you imagine, can you think of sitting and doing 100 crore transistors, put the transistor here, put this transistor here? No, right? Some tool has to help. That is this tools. After physical design, there will be a step called as static timing analysis. Once it is done, there will be a step called as layout. I mean, they put the layout of the whole chip. Then it goes for physical verification. Then finally it goes for fabrication. Then finally after fabrication we go for post silicon validation. Okay, if you understand, in summary, this aspect is called as whatever we did here, starting from the understanding requirements till we verify the code. This aspect is called as VLSI front-end domain. This aspect is called as synthesis, physical design, STA, layout, everything is called as back-end domain. Now some of you may be asking, where is DFT? I don't see DFT. DFT will be present in both the cases actually. DFT stands for testability. Can someone explain why DFT is required?
After DV, we need to test the.
No, that is called as functional verification, right? After DV, code is verified, that is called as what? Functional verification. Then what is DFT? What is meant by design for testability? Can someone tell me? What is design for testability? Can someone tell me? Anyone attending online? Anyone attending online, can someone tell me what is design for testability? Okay. So let me give you a brief about what is design for testability is. See, currently chips are manufactured at 5 nanometer technology. What is 5 nanometers we are talking about? The distance between, if you take a transistor, take FinFET or CMOS, MOSFET, the distance between drain and source is 5 nanometer. Right? So what is 5 nanometer? Just to give you a rough imagination, I mean idea of what is 5 nanometer. You take a thread, you know, stitching thread, right? Or hair you take. Vertically you cut it 1 lakh times. Vertically cut it 1 lakh times. What does it come? That is 1 nanometer. You're getting, so I will draw a line here. Then you cut this line vertically, not like this. It's horizontal cut, right? Vertical cut, how many times you cut? Almost 1 lakh times. Then what you get is a nanometer. Now you can imagine what is nanometer, right? So when you manufacture at that level, what happens is, it can have some kind of manufacturing issues, manufacturing defects, right? So these the fabrication can result in chip manufacturing defects. Okay, now let us say we have a mobile phone. I give you this mobile phone. Just by seeing the mobile phone, can you tell is this working fine or not? No, right? You can't tell. Same thing. Let's say forget mobile phone. I'll give you a chip. I'll give you a chip, manufactured chip. I'll give you, is the chip working correctly or not? No, right? You can't tell that. You need to test it. You understand, right? If you can't tell manually, what is the only way to tell? You need to test. What do you do by, what do you mean by testing? Tell me, what do you think we should do? We will do. Okay, how will you prove? Testing means working or not fine. To say that it is working or fine or not, what will you do?
According to our functions,
we will apply some inputs. We will get the expected behavior. If that behavior is good, fine. If the behavior is bad, not working. Simple, right? Nothing really complex here, right? This is what is done as part of the chip also. At every stage, this is what happens. You apply some inputs, you will get an output behavior. If the output behavior is as per my expectation, that chip is good, else chip is faulty. The chip can have two types of defects. One is functional defects. Second is manufacturing defects. What is meant by functional defects? Means during RTL verification, let's say I'm doing functional verification. You remember in the front end flow, I said one thing called as functional verification. As a functional verification, I missed out something. I didn't verify it properly. If I don't verify properly, what will happen? It comes into every chip. The defect, that functional issue will appear in every chip, right? Because you are manufacturing the same thing. But manufacturing defects are different. What happens with manufacturing defects is, if you make 100 chips, all 100 chips don't manufacture in the same manner. There will be small variation, which can result in some 90 chips are good, 10 chips are bad. Now you may ask me, Manohar, door close. Now you may ask me, is it always 90 good and 10 bad? No. It can be 99 good, 1 bad. It can be 50 good, it can be 50 bad. The problem is, by seeing those 100, you can't tell which of those is good, which of those is bad. So you need some way to figure out that which is good, which is bad. There we need to apply some inputs. It all again comes down to what? You need to apply some inputs, and based on the outputs you tell. Now we will come back to this. Before that, let's understand what kind of defects are possible in a chip. Simple, you are manufacturing two metal layers. See, silicon will consist of metals, right? That is how everything gets connected. One transistor to other transistor, how they will connect? Through metal only. If there are 1 billion metals, 1 billion transistors or multi-billion transistors, everything need to be connected through a very thin layer of metal. Which metal? Copper. If you open the silicon, you will see the copper actually inside. The copper is used to connect, and it happens at such a low level. I told you, right? You take this vertical wire and cut it. What can happen is that when they are depositing that metal, when they from the top, when they deposit the metal onto the wafer, it can spread and these two can get connected. Do you agree with that? Two metals which are close by, they can get connected because some drop got spreaded here. Do you agree with that? They can be stuck. Then what will happen? Both will be at same logic level. Both will be at same logic level. My whole chip will behave wrongly because of it. Sometimes what can happen? Some metal wire got shorted to the voltage source. Whatever is the voltage source, it got shorted to the VDD. Something got shorted to the ground. So during the manufacturing, there are multiple types of defects that can happen. Because why they will happen? Because we are manufacturing at 5 nanometers level, 7 nanometer level, 10 nanometer level. There is always a possibility of having different types of defects. Those defects are called as stuck-at faults, at speed faults. There are various faults which trainer will explain you, DFT trainer will explain you. Idea is to figure out that among the manufactured chips, which ones are good, I mean which don't have any fault at all, or which one has faults. Even if there is one fault out of 1 billion connections, that is a faulty chip. How many we are talking about? Out of 1 billion connections or even more, even if there is one fault, it is a good or bad? Bad. See, what is the, let's understand the idea of what I'm talking. Let's say I have 100 crore rupees. If I give 1 rupee away, is there any difference for me? No difference, right? It's still, for me, there is no difference. 100 crore, one rupee going, there's no difference. But for a chip, it's not like that. If there are 100 billion connections, sorry, 100 crore connections, even if one connection is wrong, it will become problem. Why it will become problem is that connection reflects everywhere else. That mistake reflects at next level. So the whole chip goes into wrong state. That is where you need to check, because I don't want to finally my customer come back and say that this is good, this is bad. My mobile phone is not working. Let's say you sold 100 mobile phones. You don't want 20 people to come back and say that these 20 are not good. Right? That's a very big problem, right? So before it goes into the final product stage, chip goes into final product, I need to make sure that that chip has been checked for functional defects and manufacturing fabrication defects. That is where the DFT engineer comes into picture. What is the role of a DFT engineer? Is he devises some techniques. He has some techniques. Those techniques are called as DFT techniques, called as scan, ATPG. ATPG stands for what? Automatic Test Pattern Generator. Then compression, then simulation. Then he uses a concept of MBIST, memory BIST and logic BIST. Then he uses a concept of JTAG. Then he uses a concept of boundary scan. Then iJTAG. Various techniques. Okay. Now, these all techniques need to be learned over a period of 6 months. So it's not going to be so complex. If you are getting into DFT domain, you need to only learn these techniques. What are these techniques? How to make these techniques and how to use the tool to do these techniques. Again, DFT is also very tool intensive job. DFT is also a tool intensive job with minimum. Someone online, please be in mute. Programming involved. What is DFT? It is a tool intensive job with minimum programming expertise. Why I am making these statements, I'll explain you. Because I want to differentiate all my domains into two categories. Someone which requires programming expertise, other domains which don't require programming expertise. My idea is to make sure that to tell you that there are these kind of two major divisions. You make a decision based on what is interest for you, right? So what is the DFT we said? DFT engineer uses concept of scan, concept of ATPG, concept of compression, simulation, BIST, JTAG, boundary scan, iJTAG. To come up with what he does is, he comes up with some patterns. Using above techniques, he comes up with test patterns. What is test pattern? Simple. Sorry. Something like this. You may be thinking, what is 101010? He has some pattern which is generated by the tool. Using the tool, he comes up with some pattern, a very big pattern. What he does is he applies this pattern into the chip. I'm just giving a very top level overview. I'm not a DFT engineer. I'm just trying to help you understand. What he did, he uses these techniques. He created this kind of patterns. Now, how this pattern, it's not like a throwing a dice and 1 0 1 0, not like that. There is a proper scientific approach. That scientific approach is these things. A proper approach which will tell him this is how the pattern should look like. That pattern is driven into the chip. Means first they will drive 1, then they will drive 0 0 0 0, whatever you see here. that will be driven into the chip. Finally, my chip will tell me, my chip will give me output. Through that output, I know whether it is good, whether it is bad. So again, understand, DFT engineer role is to generate these patterns. He doesn't sit and do the verification. This is done by post silicon validation engineer. There is one more engineer called as, one more role called as, if you see here, post silicon validation. As the term stands, post means what? After. Pre means before, post means what? After. After silicon, once the silicon has come out, it is being validated. It is being validated. So it's called as post silicon validation. So what post silicon validation engineer does is, he's been given with 100 chips. Let's say I'm just giving 100 chips is given. He has some patterns. Who gives those patterns to him? Who has given those patterns to him? The DFT engineer. DFT engineer has generated those patterns using what he has generated, using the concept of scan, built-in self-test, JTAG, boundary scan. He has generated all those patterns. His role is to apply those patterns to those chips and finally figure out whether this chip is good or this chip is bad. Then finally he will come up with a conclusion that out of 100 chips, okay, 85 is good, 15 are bad. So this is called as yield. So 85% yield. In chip manufacturing, you will hear the term called as yield. Yield means out of 100 chips manufactured, how many are good, how many are bad. So if 85 are good, yield is 85%. Then the fabrication plant, TSMC or whatever, right, they will do the analysis. Why do we get 15% defects? See, we are not experts, right? How they fix it, how they improve that. They finally bring that 85% to 90, 99%. Like they keep making it efficient because for them it's a loss, right? If 15 chips are gone, it's a loss. They eventually bring it to very high number where very few chips are faulty, more maximum number of chips are good. But in all these cases, do we stop doing this validation? We should still do, right? Because you can't even afford to have one chip going out faulty, because you don't want out of 1,000 people 10 people to come back and say that this is not working. Clear? One second. Okay, we'll resume. So I was telling that we can't afford to have even one faulty chips going into the market. So that is where we need to validate each and every chip. So for us to validate, those DFT test patterns have to be very good. So what if test pattern itself is wrong? Then you can't check, right, whether the chip is good or not. That's why you need a proper DFT techniques which will help you detect the chip. That is why you have so many concepts. Each of them targets some things, some different things. Boundary scan targets the boundary of the chip. If chip is there, outside IO ports will be there, right? MBIST will target the memories. LBIST will target the logic, the actual core logic. Scan will target the flip-flop connections. So there are such things. Okay, better we don't get deep into it, and I leave it to the DFT engineer to do his job. I won't do his job. Okay, so you got an idea, right? So why we are focusing on DFT? Because some of you are attending DFT, some of you are attending functional verification. So I thought I should just give a brief overview of what is what. So if you summarize everything, whatever we have discussed so far, there are different job roles are there. One is a marketing team. One is a design architect. One is a RTL engineer. One is a design integration engineer who does the integration. One is functional verification engineer. Then you have DFT engineer who does the design for testability activity. And then you have synthesis engineer. Then you have physical design engineer. Then you have static timing analysis engineer, custom layout engineer, everything. Now, since today's session is focused on front-end domain, let's only talk about front-end domain aspects. Tell me who can get into marketing team? Can a BTech engineer think of generally, do BTech engineers get into marketing team? Who is this role is generally open for? Mostly MBA, right? Marketing team is mostly MBA. They know the techniques, how to market the product. So engineers are not good at marketing the product. So let's leave aside the marketing part of it. Design architect. It's mostly 15 to 20 years of experience people. Who will take 15 to 20 years of experience people. Then you have design team. Mostly they look for some minimum experience, 2 to 3 years of experience. They look for minimum of 2 to 3 years of experience. They use Verilog or VHDL to develop the design code. We'll not get into it. Right now we are trying to understand the different roles. Then you have design integration engineer. Again, they expect 2 to 3 years of experience. Functional verification is where they're okay to hire 0 plus X years of experience. Then the next question comes to you. This is completely ruled out. What is the experience they are looking at? 15 to 20 years. So as a beginner, you can't even think of getting into design architect role. So that leaves with 3 roles for us. Now I'm not talking about DFT. Those who are looking for DFT, they don't have any option because they have to get into DFT only. Whereas when it comes to remaining aspects of front-end domain, there are 3 roles. What are the 3 roles? Design team, integration team, one second, I'll just give my phone and come back. Hello? So you have design engineer, integration engineer, and verification team. Clear, right? Till this point. Design team, if there is a 30 people in company, 30 people in working in VLSI front-end domain, because one chip requires a lot of engineers, right? One person cannot manufacture a chip. There will be like similarly, there might be 25 to 30 people in the back-end team also. Design team will require only 2 to 3 people. Maximum 2 to 3. Integration also requires only 2 to 3 engineers. See, there is always a plus or minus 2. Okay, you should not say that I have gone into a project, there are five design engineers. There's always a possibility that there can be little more also. Okay, this will have around 20 to 25 engineers. Let's be little fair for them. It can be 2 to 5. Can be. There's always a chance that they may require a little more design engineers. But majorly requirements will be into what? Verification. Why is it so? Let's understand. Design team, design mostly works on IP reuse. What is meant by IP reuse is IP stands for intellectual property. IP stands for what? Intellectual property. Reuse means what? Existing itself they will reuse. Let's say I'm using right now Redmi 8 Note Pro. Let's say. Before that, what was Redmi? It was 7. Redmi 7, right? So will there be any major difference between 7 and 8? Not much, right? Some percentage variation, right? So whatever design they had for Redmi Note 7, they could use it for
Redmi
8 Pro, 8. They can use, right? Similar architecture, similar components. So hence, lot of reuse happens. When you reuse, you don't have to develop everything from scratch. When you reuse, you don't have to develop everything from scratch. So you don't really require a lot of people to do the design activity in that case, because you are reusing it. What is integration? Connecting things together, right? Do you need a lot of people to connect everything together? No, right? A small team is required to do the integration. A small team is sufficient to do this activity. Right? A small team is sufficient to do this activity. But when it comes to verification, we still need to verify each and every block. You can't afford to take a risk that, okay, this is a small block, I have anyway connected properly, so I don't need to verify. No, you cannot say that. For every block you keep it into the chip, you need to verify whether it has been connected properly, whether it is working properly or not. All those need to be verified. So you need a bigger team, to verify the code. Hence, verification team requires more engineers. Now then the question comes, why they are taking why they go with 2 year experienced or 3 years experience, why they go with 2 years experience kind of, okay? And why they're open with 0 years experience. Freshers, to say. Does it mean that verification is a low class work? Does it mean that verification is a low class work? Or does it mean that RTL is a high class work? Not like that. It's all about numbers. See, it's all about numbers and business. Not even opportunities, the business, the money. It's all about money. So what is money is about is, if you hire a 2 years experienced person, a good 2-3 years experienced person, salary will be 10 lakhs and above, 10 to 20 lakhs. If I have to hire 25 engineers, 25 functional verification engineers, all experienced, all 3 years experienced, your annual budget will be up to 5 crores. Simple calculation, right? Up to it can be average of 3 to 4, somewhere in between that. If you can mix the same team with 10 experienced or 10 highly experienced, right? Maybe 10 medium, around 12 medium experienced
5 years.
and 13 freshers, your cost comes down to 2 crores. Rough idea, okay? I don't want to bring money into this discussion, but I'm telling you why the companies go for freshers into this role, because you can't afford to have everyone to be experienced person in a team for different reasons. Of course, someone has to eventually become experienced, right? As a fresher only you start, you become experienced, and because they have so many requirements, it perfectly fits into it, where you can get a fresher and you can make him do the required activity. Whereas when it comes to 2 to 3 engineers or 2 to 5 engineers, you have a critical work. You don't want to distribute major part of that work into a fresher role. Then they can afford, right? 2 to 3 engineers means they can afford to pay a good salary, and they can still allot that much budget to close it with the 2 years experience person. So hence, this is where it happens. Not like verification is a low class work, not like a design is a very high class work, nothing like that. Whatever expertise the design engineer requires, verification engineer also requires a similar level of expertise. Whatever opportunities design engineer has, the similar level of opportunities verification engineer has. Tell me, where do you think you have better chance of getting a job? Verification only, right? Because there are more requirements, and you will see when anytime you go, any company you go, verification will always be there. There will always be requirements. So this is about why mostly people look for verification. Then that explains why most of the training institutes are into functional verification training, because that is where a lot of fresher hiring happens. Now you may ask, I want to get into RTL design work. How will you do? Either as a fresher itself you can get. See, there are some companies who are okay to hire freshers also for integration work, or to hire for RTL design work. But if you still want to do, you get into functional verification after gaining little expertise, you can always get into RTL design team. Okay, it's not going to be like moving from silver to gold. So going from functional verification to design is not going to be like converting silver into gold. Similar level of expertise. Both are similar expertise, both give you similar opportunities. It's not going to be like a very top end thing or anything, because whatever you can do, whatever expertise you can do all that in functional verification itself also. So you don't have to think that design is a very great work, verification is a not a good work. It's not like that. It's just that the nature of work requires more people into verification teams. Hence they hire freshers also, because they want to manage the team, and then after 1 or 2 years they become the experienced people and they start delivering, and that process continues.
Yeah,
Any
how
question?
about DFT case?
DFT, what happens is, in a DFT generally a team will require maximum 2 to 3 engineers. Even if the overall chip design team is 50, out of them you may need only 2 to 3 engineers. Okay, then you may say, then I will not go undergo training in DFT. Number of people who undergo training in DFT is also very less actually. Hardly in a year, whole year, number of people getting trained in DFT across all the institutes, not just our institute, will be probably 200 to 250. Okay, 200 to 250. Number of people who are undergoing training in functional verification will be maybe 3,000 to 5,000. Is what? 3,000 to 5,000. So automatically numbers gets adjusted. So wherever there are a lot more requirements, more people undergo training. Wherever there are less requirements, less people undergo training. I mean, it may be too much exaggeration, but yeah, may not be 3,000, 2,000 to 4,000 numbers. It's realistic. There are so many institutes, right? And every institute is into functional verification, and then people prepare themselves also. This many people come out into the market, right? Yeah, definitely not 2,000, at least three, right? So you don't have to really worry. Less requirements are there, so I won't get job. Not like that. Everywhere, everything automatically, naturally fits in. I mean, that ratio automatically happens. Like physical design, if you go to the backend team, physical design has a lot of requirements actually. Physical design has the way functional verification require more people. In backend, physical design is one team where it requires a lot of engineers to do each and every block physical design activity. So hence again, they hire a lot of freshers into physical design. STA layout and these, I mean, layout is also one domain. Physical verification is one domain where hiring happens. Now coming back to this, going by the same logic, someone asked me, do they hire freshers in DFT? They do hire freshers in DFT. There's a lot of hiring happens for freshers, and probably my understanding of 2 to 3 engineers might be wrong, because what I've seen is companies hiring in bulk. I mean, some companies have been hiring 20 people, 30 people, 50 people. It might be that they have multiple chips, more engineers are required. But as of now, there is a lot of fresher hiring happening in DFT also.
Yeah, like 2 to 3 engineers, you said, right? Let's say like 2 to 3 years of experience. How much they would pay for that?
See, someone is asking about salary, right? Salary in VLSI is very big range actually. Let's say, what do I say if I go to TCS, for example? Just any, okay, let's not take TCS, of that kind of company. A 5 years experience person, how much you would be getting? Roughly we can tell a range, 5 to 8 lakhs. A 5 years experience person will be in TCS might be getting 5 to 8 lakhs. In VLSI, same 5 years experience person can be getting anywhere from 15 to 50, might be too much. Right, that range is very varying, because you don't perform well, you will settle down to 15 lakhs. You perform, you move 2-3 companies, one after other, you will end up getting 40 lakhs. So that range is very wide. Now someone asked me 2 years experience person, same thing holds. It can be anywhere from 6 to 25 lakhs. Now you may ask, can 2 years experience person get 25 lakhs? It is possible. It is possible. There are companies do pay. Sometimes fresher itself starts with 15 lakhs in product companies, right? Qualcomm, onsemi, Intel, they might be paying 12 to 15 lakhs. So then there is no wonder that by 2 years, if he does very well, he can move to 20 to 25 lakhs, right? Easily. So this range is possible. Now that variation will be there. You can find a 2 years experienced person in the industry who is working at 6 lakhs also, another 2 years experienced person who is working at 25 lakhs also. It is all comes down to your performance and how much value you give to the team, right? How much team is dependent on you. That's all. It all comes down to that much. They will give you whatever you ask. Okay. So now, so this is about a little bit about why functional verification training. Okay. Now let us talk about functional verification training overview, because not to deviate too much from the flow, our demo session is for what? Functional verification training and DFT training and other aspects. So let's now talk about functional verification training. So functional verification training in our institute is 28 weeks course. It is offered in 2 modes: full week weekends only mode and self-paced learning. 3 modes actually. Now it is offered in both classroom and online. Now some students are sitting in the classroom and there are many students who are attending online. 2 years back it used to be reverse. There used to be more in classroom, less online, but now I'm sure things will change. Another 2-3 months or 6 months down the line, more numbers will come to classroom. But to tell you, we have been doing classroom almost even during the COVID we did, except for the time where there was government restriction, right? That don't do class, don't run the institute physically. Except for that duration, we were always running offline, because I stay here in the I mean, what is institute? Little bit about institute. We are a 3-floor building. I mean 4 floors. I stay in one of the floors. So we consist of around 10 training rooms, right? This is a little bit about it. And okay. So I was talking about 28 weeks course. It's a classroom and online. It generally, by the existing standards of other institute, it's a longer duration. Like mostly it finishes in 20 to 22 weeks. Many places I have seen. We purposefully kept it longer. Sometimes it can even extend. How we do this course is, for every mode it's same. Now when it comes to e-learning mode, here it is different. In e-learning it is different. What is difference is we give flexibility to the student to finish at their own pace. Means we do it as normal pace of learning, quick pace learning, relaxed pace learning.
Is there any weekend tests?
Weekend
Tests?
tests we don't need to conduct, because every course consists of a lot of assignments. I'll just show you briefly.
Yeah, actually, I have a small doubt.
Yes, please ask me.
So, as you were saying, functional verification positions were mostly taken up by freshers. So,
Not
what?
mostly, not mostly. Good percentage of it is. You can't
Okay,
have all the verification being done by freshers. It's like
okay.
fresher guided by an experienced person. Eventually he learns and
So,
he becomes experienced. Now ask me. Yeah.
okay, so what if a fresher want to take up a functional verification job? So, what kind of subjects will be expected from the fresher if he's only from undergrad?
I will
That
explain everything. That's what I was
okay.
going to explain. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Someone asked about e-learning. This can be done in their own pace. Normal pace means finish it in 28 weeks. Quick pace means you try to finish it in 15 to 20 weeks. Relaxed pace means what? You finished in 40 weeks. Now why this is required? Because everyone don't have the same schedule. I may have only 10 hours per week. If I'm preparing myself without attending the live session, I may have only 10 weeks. The overall preparation will require, overall training requires around 550 hours. Rough number. Okay, now it's not exactly 550 hours. It can be 600, it can be 500, based on where do you start from. Let's say someone is already knowing Verilog, little bit of Verilog, at least what is for loop, what is if condition, what is case, what is little bit about always, then it can be 500 hours. Someone don't know anything, someone don't know what is K-maps, don't know what is De Morgan. Now will 550 be sufficient? No, right? Another 50 hours, so it will become 600. If you spend 10 hours, 20 hours every week, what does it come down to? 28 weeks. If you can spend 10-15 hours every week, then it will become 40 weeks. How do you add up that 550 hours? It's all about how do you add up 550 hours. Now coming back to this thing, full week and weekends only more, the schedule will be same. Okay, exact. We try to finish both the things in 28 weeks only. Now coming to the content, training content. Training content consists of, first we start off with digital design training for 3 weeks. Then we get into Verilog language training for 3 weeks, plus or minus something, 3 to 4 weeks. I would say 4 weeks actually, it's more realistic. Then Verilog design projects, 3 weeks. And this is the exact order in which we do the things. Okay, while we do Verilog, before that we do GVim, little bit about Linux basics. Okay, same, I mean 0 weeks. I mean it gets included into Verilog language only. As part of the Verilog language only, Linux basics also we introduce. Then you have, this is like a major phase 1 of training is done. Then we go to the next phase where we start with system Verilog language. This goes exactly for 7 weeks. Then we go to UVM methodology, UVM. It goes for 4 weeks. Once it is done, then we teach Linux. Then we teach Python scripting. I'll explain what is the duration. This goes for around 1.5 weeks. This goes for around 1.5 weeks. This much is sufficient actually, because by the time you are reach here, you are matured with the subject. I mean, you are learned a lot of things, and in same 1.5 weeks, you can do a lot more things actually. In same 1.5 weeks, here, whatever you require 3 weeks, by the time you reach here, you can do the same amount of learning in 1.5 weeks actually. If you have done time pass, same, no difference. But if you have learned properly, what you really took 3 weeks to learn in the beginning of the course, you can learn same amount of things in 1.5 weeks. Once it is done, this probably completes the phase 2. I will say phase 2. Then finally we have the industry standard project. Done using SV and UVM. This is the phase 3. You can start looking for jobs here. Placement support starts. Now let's add up. This will go for around 5 weeks, 4 to 5 weeks. I mean, if you can do properly, it can be finished in 4 weeks or maybe 5 weeks. 3, 4, 3, 10 weeks, right? 7 plus 4 is what? 11 weeks, and 3 weeks and 4 weeks. What is it? 7. How much is it? It adds up to 28 weeks, right? Totally. This is how we finish the course in 28 weeks. Now, sometimes it extends to 30 weeks. Why it extends is, at the end of this Verilog training, people want 1 week break because they feel that a lot of things have been covered. See, where things really differ in the training is digital design during your college, you do it over 1 semester. Correct, right? You do it over 1 semester. And what you learn here is a lot more depth than what you do in college. Once you go through the training, you'll understand that probably what you learned in college, we teach here 3 to 4 times more than that. 3 to 4 times more than that. And we are trying to finish the same activity in 3 weeks duration. So hence, there's a lot of pressure actually. There's a pressure that builds up because you have to finish a lot of things in short duration, and we can't even afford to keep it. Can I make it 8 weeks? Then either I have to increase the course to 40 weeks, which is not possible because people won't join. Then they want job after 5 months or after 6 months. So hence we try to finish it in 3 weeks. But having said that, we can't compromise the content. I can't only teach AND gate, OR gate and say done. We have to teach in depth. So hence, that is the only place where you find the difficulty during the training, actually speaking. I mean, coping up with the pace of learning. Actually, we start from very fundamentals. We start off from what is K-map, what is AND gate, what is OR gate, what is truth table, what is Boolean expression, what is De Morgan theorem. At that level only we teach. We'll teach how they, I mean, with everything practical example. Okay. The only thing that makes overall thing difficult is people find it difficult to catch up with the pace of learning. I mean, quickly it starts from basics and it quickly moves to the advanced concepts. So that's where generally sometimes what happens is it ends up in 1 week break. They end up asking again 1 week break here. So that course typically ends up getting into 28 weeks to 31 weeks or so. But you don't need to worry. Why you don't need to worry? Because by the time you complete these topics, you can start looking for job. You are eligible for job because when you, let's say you apply for any of the companies, they don't really expect you to be good at this level. What is meant by industry standard project is, it is really industry standard project, something like DMA controller verification, something like Ethernet MAC verification, something like USB core verification, or maybe universal memory controller verification. The industry doesn't expect you to be good with these things. I mean, they don't expect you to come prepared with industry standard project. Their expectation would be that you should be good with UVM. So how much time it takes to reach there? 21 weeks totally. Start from the day one. Where are you there? 21 weeks you are there, including 1 week break, 22 weeks. Which is 22 weeks? How much is 22 weeks? 5 months. By the time you complete 5 months of training, you're done with the major part of the thing, and you don't even need to be good with Linux and Python. To attend an interview, they won't ask you Linux, they won't ask you Python too much. You can apply, start looking for job within this much duration. Now the question comes, can we complete UVM in 4 weeks? Can we complete system Verilog language in 7 weeks? Actually, there is one more thing I missed. I'll explain that also. Wait. There is one AXI project which will take up another 1 or 2 weeks. That's where ideally this will become 4 weeks. There is little staggering. I mean, but in summary, even if it extends, you can start looking for jobs in after 5 months. Because when you go to job interview, if you are perfect with Verilog, if you are perfect with system Verilog language and UVM, you are good to attend the interview and you can clear the interviews also. This will be you even after getting into the job, you can do this training. Let's say you join into a company, you can switch to weekend only training, weekend mode of training, and you can still do these projects. You can still learn Linux and Python, and mostly always it doesn't happen that you get the job after 5 months, right? It might take another 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. So if you are here, you can complete this course. If you get into a job, you can do it in a different mode, where you do it in self-paced learning mode, or you do it in weekends only mode, but we'll give you flexibility to choose whatever mode you want. Now coming to the schedule, I will be, lot of people are asking questions in the chat window. I'll be answering all those questions. First, I'm just trying to give you the brief about what to expect in each part of the training. Typically we'll have full week training, we'll have 6 days of training per week, and per day 4 hours will be there. 3 to 4 hours. Many times when I teach 4 hours, people say please stop. After 3 hours they say stop, because so much content it becomes that they can't handle, and for me doing 4 hours is better, because my course gets over a little quickly, right? Instead of 3 hours, 4 hours, for me that I'm able to do 33% more course. But many times I have to go by students' interests, because at the end they have to learn the things, right? It's not just about me teaching and nothing is being learned. So I always make sure that we align with the student interest. I mean, student says that we are able to, we have to stop here, we do stop here. That is where instead of 4 hours, sometimes it becomes 3 hours. Other than that, regularly we try to maintain 4 hours schedule. And now how the sessions are done is, when I'm teaching Verilog language, okay, everything is theory and labs are intermixed, means they are interleaved. Let's say today I taught one topic. I have taught a topic about pattern detector, for example. I will be teaching pattern detector. What is pattern detector? How do you draw the state machine for pattern detector? How do you develop Verilog code? How do you verify it? All those aspects I will complete today. Tomorrow's session will be done by our supporting trainers, who will be making you do the same thing with their guidance. So we make sure that my teaching and your practice go in sync. We don't create a scenario where I'm 10 sessions ahead of you. So I'm 10 topics ahead and you are still doing the first topic. So if it requires for me to stop my sessions for 2-3 days, I do that. I mean, we are actually, me and my supporting trainers will be connected with each other. So we know what is happening and he knows what I'm doing. He makes sure that he's able to complete. Once he is done, he informs me. In all this, we try to make sure that we don't create any urgency. Most important thing is, I don't keep any completion timelines. Right? Even today, when I came to this session, I didn't come with a mindset that I have to finish my demo at 12:30 or I have to finish at 1 o'clock. Even when I start a batch, I don't go with the mindset that I have to finish the batch in 6 months, I have to finish in 7 months. But all I know is people needs to look for the jobs. I need to do the priority topics before. So what are the priority topics? These are the priority topics. If we can finish off these things in 5.5 months, let's say AXI is one thing we have to include. Another 2 weeks, let's say. It adds to 30 weeks totally. Okay. So I generally don't, frankly, okay, I mean, I should not tell too many times. I don't count the duration, because for me, way I look at it is, if there are 30 people in a batch or 25 people in a batch, how do we make sure that everyone catches up and everyone learns things properly? That is the intention with which we drive the course. And we have been improving, we have a team of people, the human HR team, who make sure that they follow each and every one, how they are doing, where they are lacking. We have a mechanism to track the individual performance. I mean, how to track care of quality management. Like someone asked me, do you give test every week? Test is not required. Typically, once you join the course, assignments will be there. I'll show you some assignments here. Once you join, you will be given login into inskill.in. Like you would be aware of Udemy, right? Similar to that, we have our own learning platform called as InSkills. This is our institute learning platform. So you will be provided with a login credentials into this. So once you log in, you have access to different courses. And one more thing I want to tell you is, you get access to, for every session that happens, recorded video of that session, of each session, available for at least 1 week duration. So today's session I'm recording. You can watch this video for next 1 week anytime. Now you may say, why not full 6 months? Then what happens is negligence comes into student. If I tell that it is available only for 1 week, he will revise. Otherwise, if I say that it will be available till December, when he will revise? December. Then how many things to revise by December? 100 videos to revise, right? If he keeps everything to December, what will happen? Everything need to be done in December. It never happens. So that we had to decide somewhere there has to be a limit, where a serious student will finish in 1 week. Someone who is not serious, he will never finish. So we felt 1 week is sufficient for that. So that's where 1 week duration comes. Why that 1 week? Why revision recorded video is required? Generally, sessions are longer, 3 to 4 hour sessions, and it's easy to get distracted. It's not a very interesting thing, right? We are not talking about some very interesting topic. We are not talking about movies or anything. We are talking about some core technical things. and it's easy to get distracted. So you might miss some topics. Even when you get distracted, you can talk to the trainer, you can ask some trainer to repeat the topic, he will do. But sometimes people have hesitation to ask. You can always refer to the recorded video. Wherever you have missed, you can always follow that video. That is the intention with which we have been giving this. Okay. Now coming back to the quality management, every course, let's say if I go to Verilog will have the videos. I mean those who are enrolled for live training, they won't get these videos. They will have a separate set of videos where they will have live batch videos. Like whatever has happened today, they will see. Whatever has happened yesterday, they will see in the live batch video. Schedule will be there. Presentation. See, the presentation is where all the presentations are there. Verilog language PPT, the projects PPT. I said, right, Verilog is how many parts? 2 parts, the language and projects. Then the notes. One unique thing you see in our institute is, in VLSI Institute is, as a trainer, we prepare notes actually. We make the notes. We let students only focus in the session. Right? You start writing down things, you will end up only focusing on writing, you lose track of what I'm talking. So generally I make sure that whatever important points I talk or even my other trainers talk, they make a notes as much as possible, and that notes will be shared with you. In fact, that is the notes we have uploaded here. Session 1 to session 3, session 7 to 11, different notes we have uploaded. Then here you have the assignments. How many assignments are there roughly? The last assignment is 21. Up to 20 you can say. Okay, 20 assignments will be there. Verilog course duration is how much? Roughly 7 weeks. And 20 assignments. How much it comes to roughly? 3 assignments per week. So institute requirement would be 3 assignments per week. That itself is a very hectic thing actually. That itself is a very hectic thing. But then the positive thing is 90% of all this I'll be teaching myself. Whatever assignments you do, it has already been discussed. Pretty much everything is discussed during the session. All you have to do is just open the assignment, try to do it yourself without referring to what I have done. Let's say combinational logic, if I go, for example. Let it come up.
Yeah, regarding the self-paced mode, how it works, similar?
See, self-paced mode, how it works is, we give a schedule. See, in self-paced mode, you get access to all these videos. This Verilog training has 55 videos totally. You get access to all the 55 videos at once. Then we give you a schedule here. There is a schedule that is being put up here. What is schedule is, based on our understanding, we have divided the students into 3 categories. What is 3 categories? Someone who can spend 15 to 20 hours in a week. Okay. Someone who can spend up to 12 to 15 hours per week. Someone who can spend up to 18 to 20 hours per week. Someone who can spend up to 25 to 30 hours per week. Finally, same amount of time need to be spent, right? Right? It's not like always 4 weeks. More time you give, less duration it will take. So what we do is, if it is normal pace of learning, a student is supposed to finish the course in 6 weeks. If quick pace, they will finish it in 5 weeks. In a relaxed pace, they will finish it in 9 weeks. So here we give how you are supposed to finish. Like in if you go in relaxed pace, unit 1 to unit 2. In week 2, you have to finish unit 3 to unit 5. Like that, for every course you have, these 3 phases will be there. Now you realistically ask yourself, how much time can I spend in a week? Why? Because let's say you may be working professional, right? Who goes for e-learning? Someone who is already working and who don't have time to attend the regular classes. In those cases, you ask yourself, how much time can I spend in a week? Accordingly, you can decide relaxed, normal, or quick. Now, based on your mode of learning, we will give the access. I mean, let's say you want to do in relaxed, 9 weeks means we'll give you 15 weeks access. Let's say you want to do in normal mode of learning, we'll give you 10 weeks of access. You finish. Once you finish Verilog, what is the next thing after Verilog? System Verilog. We'll enable the System Verilog access for you. So we won't give all the courses at once. Again, it's similar to BTech. In first semester, they give you all the books of 8 semester. What will happen? You don't know which one to read, which one to refer to also. So that's where the whole learning has been divided into 8 semesters. So here also our whole learning is divided into multiple phases so that your learning can be better. You don't get confused with too many things happening. So this kind of guidance you will get. In all this, what we do is, like I said, assignments, right? We will be giving you one Google Drive link individually for each student, where you will be submitting digital assignments, you will be submitting Verilog assignments, you will be submitting system Verilog assignments, you will be submitting UVM assignments, you will be submitting Linux assignments, Python assignments, and you will be a project and even AXI assignment. Okay. There is a dedicated person in the institute who only looks after this, who will be looking after who has submitted and who hasn't submitted, how many questions they have submitted, everything they will be telling you. Based on that, they will categorize the people who is doing well, who is not doing well. So idea is not to tell that you are very good, you are very bad, anything. Idea is to figure out who needs support and provide that support. Okay. I don't generally try to differentiate students. For me, every student is same, whether he is smart, whether he is not so smart. For me, at the end of the day, it's all same. So idea is to make sure that we assess them. Then what happens at the end of every topic, let's say digital design is over, there will be one assessment test, evaluation test, evaluation test, evaluation test, evaluation test, evaluation test. Totally 8 evaluation tests will happen at the end of every session. Again, this course also will be evaluated. Again, we figure out who is doing good, who is not doing good. Now, if someone did really very bad in digital or Verilog, at that stage we tell them that don't go to system Verilog. I discourage them. I literally discourage them not to do system Verilog by telling them many things. You can't handle system Verilog itself. Let's say someone scored 20% in Verilog, let's say. Can I allow him to go to system Verilog? No, right? He's not good with Verilog, so he can't learn system Verilog. So I ask him to redo Verilog. And the good thing is, we don't start batches every 6 months. We start a batch every 1.5 month. A batch starts. There is again a new Verilog batch happening. By the time he completes, he wants to go to system Verilog. At the same time, 1 or 2 weeks plus or minus, Verilog batch is happening. So we ask him to repeat. Now that is where one person's course might even extend to 10 months also. Instead of 6.5 months, there can be few people for whom the course can extend to 10 months also. But I believe in the same approach because quality is more important than just saying course has been completed. Because at the end, when you look for a job, it's not the institute that matters, whether you are from Maven, whether you are from Chipet, whether you are from VLSI Guru or RV VLSI. It doesn't matter at all. Doesn't matter absolutely. What matters is how do you present yourself, how confidently you present, how does your resume look. Resume is more important, right? Resume, what is mean by resume? What kind of projects you have, what kind of skill set you have, what kind of protocols you have. That is where I believe our course will make a big difference to you. What do you mean by that is, during this course, you will be doing multiple projects, which clearly keeps your resume apart from many of the other institutes. I generally don't like talking negative about other places because they can talk negative about my institute also. It's very much possible that I have a lot of negatives. I can have a lot of negatives. So not to talk, but I'm just trying to project the positives, where we differ. Okay. So the multiple projects can be like focused on asynchronous FIFO, complete design and verification. Let's say pattern detector. Let's say interrupt controller, memory design and verification. Then you have SPI controller. Then you have CRC generation concept. Then if possible, parallel in serial out component. Then you have memory test bench using system Verilog. Then we do AXI VIP development. Then we have APB UVC development. Then we do AHB UVC development. Then currently we are doing Ethernet MAC functional verification. So roughly it adds up to how much? 161 to 172, around 12 things it adds up to. Now the question comes, is it possible to do so many things in such a short time, 6.5 months? It's actually possible. It doesn't take so much. I mean, with the proper guidance, this can be done in 10 hours time. Completely. What is FIFO? FIFO is what? First in, first out. What is asynchronous means? Multiple, two clocks are there, two different clocks are there. I mean, with a proper teacher, with a proper teaching, with proper dedication from your side, you can learn whole asynchronous FIFO in 10 hours. The same hours, same thing applies for everywhere. See, interrupt pattern detector can be learned in 4 hours. It's not a very complex things. Okay. Like that, if I add up, so people will have generally apprehension. In other institute, there are only 2-3 projects are done. Other 2 very small projects. Here he's showing 10 projects. Is it possible? It is possible. What is that adds to your advantage would be, we give the video. You can always refer to the video, and just whatever topics you couldn't follow, you can go through that video and understand all those things. So someone is asking, can we show all these projects in your resume? You can show, because as a fresher, even if you develop, let's say ALU, Verilog code, you know what is ALU, right? Arithmetic logic unit. You can even mention that in your resume. For a fresher, everything is a project only. Everything you do is a project only, because at the end you're just trying to project to the other person. These are all things I know. You can show even ALU as a project. Okay, I will answer all the questions. Just give me 5 minutes. I'll wind up my topic. Then we'll take a break. Then I will answer all your questions. Okay. So this is about these things. All these projects, everything you see here will be done by the trainer. I'm not going to share the code, ask you to go through the code. I'm not going to open the code and this is first line, this is second line, this is the third line. I'm not going to do. Everything will be done from the scratch. And there will be a supporting sessions, lab sessions, what I call as lab sessions, following days, where you will be doing everything from your side with a trainer guidance. There will be a person who will be guiding you step by step. Now do this, now do this. Most of the time, it all comes down to student motivation level. There are 2 categories of students. One who thinks everything will be done by the institute, even making them sit, making them type everything. Then there is a second category of student who is proactive, who tries to do everything themselves, and then comes to the institute or trainer for the support. It's the second category of people who always win. First category will always be waiting to just get a support. So we try to motivate, but then it's very difficult to change. See, someone who joins here is 21 years already. So what you didn't do for 21 years, it's difficult to change it in 6 months. Right? But we try to give the push. You're getting right. Whatever IQ you didn't have for 21 years, IQ, see, I have developed my IQ over 20 years of time, starting from my first standard till BTech. I can't really change. I can't drastically reverse it in 6 months time. I can't make it too super, right? But we will give you guidance in such a way that wherever you start, let's say you are an average student, we can make you smart. You are a smart guy, I can make you super smart. But below average candidate, I can't make super smart. But having said that, I will never ignore any student. I'm trying to be realistic here. I mean, maybe you're thinking I'm too honest or anything. I'm just trying to tell you what is possible, how you should be approaching the training. You need to have that motivation. You will get the proper guidance from the institute, because I always believe that every student comes with a lot of hopes, lot of dreams. I should ensure that we live up to that expectations. Okay, next. I think that pretty much I've given the overview, and I don't want to get too much deep into what is functional verification. Just understand that I'll talk for 5 minutes about functional verification. We'll take a break. Then after the break, we'll continue with the question and answers. What is functional verification is? It is about, I have developed, let's say, one design. Let's say I have taken a mobile phone chip. I have developed a Verilog code for that. I need to verify that that code has been properly developed, that it should not have any mistake, it should not have any issues in the code. Like whatever code I develop, let's say code will be developed like module, mobile, SOC, N module. and inside this I'll be doing a lot of coding. I want to make sure that that coding is proper, there is no mistake. That process of checking whether this code is proper or not is what we call as functional verification. Functional verification is very important because if some code is wrongly, let's say some variable was supposed to be 1, it was supposed to be 1, by mistake I kept 0 by mistake. This will reflect into this mistake. And once it goes into the chip, you can't do anything. You can't go into the chip and do anything. Why? See, laptop, some wrong mistake is there in the top of laptop, I can fix it because it's a very big device. In a mobile phone, we are talking at nanometer level, and it's already fabricated. It's fabricated into what? Silicon. It's done into silicon. You can't do anything after that. Once the mistake has been fabricated into the chip, it is done. You can't do anything. That whole chip is gone. And it's not one chip. How many chips are gone? All the manufactured chips are gone. Everything that is manufactured. It's not like selectively it will become good or selectively it won't become bad. If your Verilog code is wrong, it will finally go into each and every chip. It can lead to companies closing down. Even the big product companies, let's say, I don't want to name the product companies, let's say 2-3 of their chips continuously fail, the company will close down, because that much investment goes into one flow. Just to do one chip, there's a lot of investment goes actually, right? So hence functional verification is a very important aspect. Now the point is, how do we make sure that this is wrong? Instead of 1, it is becoming 0. That's a mistake, right? So we don't scan through the code. It's not like line number 164 is good. Okay, line number 165 is good. As a verification engineer, I don't sit and see, okay, 166 is good, 167 is good. I won't do like that. There is a proper approach. What we do is, we take a design. This is the Verilog code. Around this, I set up something called as test bench. Okay, now don't think that it will come in this shape. I'm just showing you roughly as a diagram. It consists of many components called as BFM, bus functional model, generator, monitor, functional coverage, reference model, checker, slave model, assertions. Everything collectively is being called as test bench. So in summary, what we do is, given a Verilog code to me, someone has given me a Verilog code. I don't scan the code and tell this code is good, this code is bad. I can't do that. It's not possible. Because if there are 1,000 lines, how do I tell which line is good, which line is bad? I can't tell that. What I do is, around my design, this is the DUT, design under test. DUT stands for what? Design under test. I set up something called as a test bench. Test bench consisting of what components? Tell me. Test bench consisting of below components. BFM. BFM stands for bus functional model. Bus functional model. Generator, monitor, functional coverage, reference model, checker, slave model, assertions, and sometimes register model. How many components are there totally? 9. Our 6 months of training is all about learning how to do this. Our 6 months of training is all about how to develop BFM efficiently, how to develop generator efficiently, how to implement monitor efficiently, how to implement functional coverage efficiently. So eventually, when I say this final project, right, Ethernet MAC functional verification or some project, it is all about how do I develop those projects using SV and UV. How do I develop this using system Verilog and UVM? UVM stands for Universal Verification Methodology. Means universal means what? Not outside the world. Universal here stands for what? Across the world, across the world, whoever is doing verification, they follow some methodology. Let's say you go to US, they do functional verification using one approach. You go to Israel, they're using approach. This UVM tries to unify the same thing. I mean, it will ensure that even if I'm in Bangalore, I will follow the same kind of approach to do the verification. Even if I'm in US, someone is in US, they will also follow the same kind of approach. That collectively, that kind of techniques is called as universal verification methodology. So what is that I was trying to tell you? That given a design, we need to develop a test bench. Test bench consisting of 9 components. Learning SV and UVM is all about learning how to develop these components efficiently, how to connect, and how to then do the verification. Now, today is not the right time to explain everything, right? I can't teach all 7 months in 1 month or 1 day. So hence, I won't go deep into it. Just remember that functional verification is not as difficult as you think. First thing, okay, this is the first thing I want to tell. Functional verification is not as difficult as you think. Next, coding is not as difficult as you think. Okay, that's all. These are the 2 things you fear, right? Mostly coding is what people fear. Everything answer is a right trainer is the answer for everything. Right teacher, right? You have BTech subjects. There are some subjects which are very interesting for you. Some subjects which are very boring. Right? Who makes it interesting and who makes it boring? It's the teacher, right? I mean, the teacher can give you a proper way of approach, and he can make the subject interesting, and he can also make subject boring. So with coding also can be learned. Even if you don't know anything, you can learn coding and you can become a very good programmer. Now, how our thing can help you is, let's say you have a confusion, you don't know which one to start with. Whether to start with verification or whether to get into other domains. What is other domains? Non-programming based domains, like physical design doesn't require any programming expertise. DFT doesn't require any programming expertise. Custom layout doesn't require any programming expertise. You choose any domain, up to 1.5 months. See, by the time you complete 1.5 months, a new batch starts, or even 2 months, because initial 2-3 weeks will be digital. Let's say you start today, 3 weeks you do digital, and by the time next batch digital design completes, it's already actually 2 months, not even 1.5 months, 2 months. You can rejoin into different domain. Let's say you started into Verilog, functional verification. You start with what? Verilog. You do for 2 months completely. You didn't like the subject. I mean, you didn't like programming at all. You feel that DFT is good for you. You feel that physical design is good for you. We'll give you option to switch to other domain. There is no additional cost. Now the next question will come, my 2 months is wasted. Learning is never a waste. Learning is never a waste. Why it's not waste is because whatever Verilog you learn, you have learned how to approach, how to understand a given problem, how to do the coding for that problem, what is meant by design, what is meant by verification. You got an idea. Just that you didn't like the subject. Just that you didn't learn like the concept of coding. You feel that you are not good with programming. You can always switch to.
Is my time waste for 2 months?
And that's what I'm telling. It's not wasted. It's not wasted. Everything you spend 2 months is a learning. It's a learning. But what is the positive thing? You are not stuck in that domain, right? You're not stuck in a domain which is not interesting for you. You are given option to switch to other domain where you find it interesting and you can pursue there. Overall, instead of 6 months, it is taking you 8 months. Let it be, because you are able to explore both the domains. This is one thing. Okay. So I think I have given you a very brief idea of what is functional verification. I didn't want to go deep into it. Okay. But only thing is, understand that it's not difficult. Coding can be learned in a proper manner. Even when we teach Verilog, we start from very fundamentals. What is multiplexer? How to develop a Verilog code for multiplexer? How to do the test bench for multiplexer? Like that, gradually we increase the complexity to a point where things gets complex also. When you go to these levels, things are actually complex. In all this, you need to have, the student need to have a lot of self motivation. That is where things become big problem for us. I mean, how do I push a student sit and learn? I can't do that. That's the only problem I face in the institute. Now, from my side, from our side, we try to do our best. From a teaching side, we try to make notes, we try to give the material, everything. In summary, it all comes down to student finding that motivation and learning. And sometimes you go through difficult phase, right? Like you don't understand some topic, because whatever is easy for me, it need not be easy for you. As a beginner, you may find everything to be, you utilize the resources. It's all about you approaching the trainer for support, you connecting with someone else for support. It's all about that, rather than keeping it to yourself, being proactive and getting the support. That's the only thing. Okay, let us take a break now. We will meet in 10 minutes. I think 10 minutes is fine, right? Because we are not talking any technical thing. So we'll get into question and answers after that. So let's meet at 11:45. At 11:45, we'll start off with the question and answers, or anything specific to functional verification we'll discuss. So we'll meet at 11:45. So let us resume the session. So we'll just start off with the quick revision of summary of what we have discussed. So we understood that VLSI flow is around 12 steps majorly. They are divided into two aspects: front-end domain and back-end domain. Since you're looking for mostly front-end domain activity, so it is the functional verification is where you find a lot of opportunities. And the front-end domain is mostly programming intensive job. Means you should have some kind of inclination for programming, but even if you don't have, you should develop that inclination, right? Back-end domain mostly has opportunities in physical design. I kind of place DFT into backend because the definition is something which is mostly tool intensive job. Means where you need to learn the tool, where you need to learn how to implement the flow using tool, that things. Then other than that, you have the custom layout. Okay. These are the domains where there are more of job opportunities. Now, because there are three here, there is one here. It's not like it'll have 3 times more jobs. Functional verification always has lot of opportunities, because anytime you see, there is lot of people are required for functional verification in any team. And generally speaking, functional verification is a good domain because it gives you a very good life balance. I mean, work-life balance. Right? As of now, you don't understand the term much because mostly you're still in the learning phase. But after time, some 3-4 years, then you will understand the term, what is meant by work, what is meant by life balance, right? Why it is more better is it happens in the beginning of the flow. If the project is for, let's say, 8 months duration, the initial 6 months is where verification is done. Physical design and these aspects happen in the last 3 to 4 months. And mostly the pressure always comes in the last phase of the project. Beginning, always everything will be relaxed. Nobody even asks what is happening, also nobody asks. So hence, most of the time, these domains are very pressure intensive job. I mean, you have to spend a lot of time in office and all that. That you don't really see much happening with functional verification. Mostly because the work is kind of distributed over 6 months and it's more relaxed actually. Yeah. Now coming to the salaries, people ask which domain has more salaries. I told you one thing, right? Even you'll find a verification engineer who will be earning 15 to 40 lakhs with 5 years experience. You will find a physical design engineer also who is also making similar range. You can find even DFT engineers. So now if someone asks me where there is more salary, I don't have answer. But as a generic norm, physical design engineer can have 10% more salary than others. As a general norm, physical design engineer salaries can be little more than other people. That 5-10% doesn't really matter much. Okay, because in this variation we are talking about almost 200% variation here. Their 10% variation doesn't matter. Correct, right? So hence you should go by your interest rather than salary. At one point after 10 years, salary don't matter. What you do every day, are you doing it interesting, is what really matters for you. And functional verification is one such domain where there will be a lot of things to learn. And there is a scope for growth. People can grow much in the ladder. Verification engineer, senior, then lead, manager, then director. There are a lot of hierarchies you can go through, right? Next. So now let us start with the question and answers. I hope it will cover a lot of things you may have to ask. So you can start asking the questions. Please do not ask the questions in private. You ask the questions in public to everyone. When you are asking questions in chat window, just ask to everyone, right?
So what tool we using for verification or Verilog and SV?
Tools used will be Model Sim for Verilog. During Verilog training, we'll be using Model Sim. Questa Sim during System Verilog and UVM. We will also give you exposure to VCS tool. These are the tools we'll be using. Other than that, you'll be also learning how to use edaplayground.com. There is one website, edaplayground.com, where all these tools are also available. That also you'll get exposure. So these are the tools you'll be using. So these two tools are from Mentor Graphics. This tool is from Synopsys. Now, verification.
Sir, in DFT?
In DFT, we use Tessent tool. Tessent is from Mentor. It is a market leader. I mean, almost 80% of the companies, 80 to 90% of companies use Tessent. Next. You can start posting your questions. I'll take those questions and I'll start answering those. Next. Whether you will be giving projects or do we have to select, or for self-paced learning, how do we? Okay. Now coming to the projects, coming to whether you'll have to, there is a fixed set of projects which we work during the course. I said all this will be all, nothing like almost all of them will be doing. Beyond that, if you want to do, you can still do. See, if giving you RTL code is not a difficult thing for me. See, there are some website like opencourse.org. What is that? Open course. Course means they're talking about the RTL course. You go to this website. Don't know why this net is slow. The browsing alone. So other than that, you can download many designs, or I can help you download, I can help you get those RTL code and specification, design specification, you can do. So if you want to do things outside of the coursework, you can do. But based on my experience, you would not want to do, you won't do at all. Because what happens, by the time you learn this much expertise, mostly you get a job. In many cases, what I've seen is you don't even need to wait till this stage. If you are very good with SVUVM, you get a job. Next, for self-paced learning, how can we get with the project? I mean, the same way. For every topic, there will be videos available. Let's say if I go here. Let it come up. Okay. If you go to the e-learning portal, there are videos for each and every topic. So there are videos for asynchronous FIFO. There is a video for pattern detector. There's a video for interrupt controller. There's a video for memory design and verification. Every topic you see, all these topics are properly prepared as set of videos, which gives you step-by-step guidance. E-learning course students will have live sessions over the weekends. They will get the live session support, and it's not one weekend, every weekend actually. Every weekend they will have the support sessions, because self-paced learning is not a pure video course. Again, understand, self-paced e-learning is not only video course. We'll have live sessions over the weekends. So there you can talk to the trainer and get your doubts clarified, and trainer can cover some topics for you as per your requirement. Next. First, let me take down all the questions.
Yeah, I have a one doubt. Can I ask?
You can post your question in the window, chat window. Then while I'm answering your question, whatever doubts you have, you can ask me that question also again. If my question is not answered completely, you can ask me live. You can post the questions. I will be answering. Let me now start off with these things. So first question we have answered. Second is also done. Third is also done. Next, which one is better? Functional design or functional verification? There is nothing called as functional design. There is no domain called as functional design. Functional verification means since you are verifying functionality, it's called as functional verification. There is nothing called as functional design. RTL design is there. What did I tell regarding these two? Tell me. Both are equally good, right? Both are equally good. It's just about your passion. If you are interested in understanding the design and implementing the design, then RTL design. If you are good at verifying, finding the bugs, let's say given a big code, you want to develop a test bench and you want to detect the bugs in the code, where are the mistakes in the code, then it's called as functional verification. For this question, there is no answer. It's all as per your interest, right? But from a career perspective, functional verification is good because there's always opportunities everywhere. There's a lot of growth also in that domain. Next, can a computer science student do functional verification? Yes, very much, because companies hire people from computer science and any electrical related, electrical, electronics, electrical engineering or instrumentation engineering, anything which has got electrical in that, companies are hiring. If someone is from mechanical, companies don't hire much. They don't hire, rather, I would say. But anything from computer science or electrical, electronics, any affiliated branch, they hire. Video availability for to see self-paced course. I mean, it will be for entire course. The only thing that happens here is, let's say the course you choose relaxed pace of learning. For example, the overall course will go for almost 10 months for you. I would say 9 months for you. So we don't keep every video access for 9 months. Let me tell you. See, keeping digital for whole 9 months doesn't make sense. So what we do is, initial 3 months, you get access to digital and Verilog videos. You finish off those things. If you want, it can be extended. Access can be extended. To another 2 months you request, we extend it. But as a practice, once you are done with the 3 months, we ask you, are you done with digital? Are you done with Verilog? We conduct a test. Based on your performance, you move to system. Then again, what do we do? 3 months of system Verilog access. In that, let's say within 2 months you finish, then again we conduct a test. Move to UVM. Again, what do you do? Probably a 2 months of UVM access, because it's a relatively short course compared to system Verilog. UVM is relatively short actually. Again, conduct a test. Move to next level. That is Linux, Python. Again, what do we do? 2 months access to Linux and Python. Again, same approach will happen. Then finally, another 2 months access to project. One second, some Ashok was telling, please log off. Okay, so now you may say this is all adding up to 10 months. It adds because this is the mode you wanted to do. If someone might want to finish quickly, someone might want to finish a whole digital in Verilog in 1.5 months, they can do that. That is the benefit of self-paced learning course. So there were people who've completed the entire course in 3.5 months also. Then there are people who took almost 10 months to 1 year also. I don't restrict in any case because access is only to make sure that we give some seriousness to your preparation. If I tell you that I'll keep it for lifelong, you never complete the course. And we have to protect our course also. Many times people share. It's a tendency, right? You can share your login to someone and they can watch. So we have to limit where your access should be restricted. So that's the only reason, right? So you can do in relaxed pace, or you can choose base. I mean, how do you choose relaxed or normal or quick pace? How many hours you can spend in it in a week? That tells you what is that I can do with. Next, will you provide any course material? Yes. All the course material, both soft copy and hard copy. I mean, we are in the process of getting the hard copy printed. We'll be giving that material because we have the entire material prepared. Just that some final things are there, like how should the top cover should look like, the back cover, that right, binding when we do. There we are in the design process. Otherwise, we already have the assignments, we have the presentations. It's just that we have to give for print. In that process only, we are looking at. Otherwise, it should be ready. We will be giving the material also. Next, I am 2009 pass out. I mean, again, about course material, everything you get actually. You get the presentation access, you get the assignments, you get the session notes, you get the course preparation documents, interview questions, some design specification documents, everything you get. And of course, other than that, whatever notes I prepare, whatever labs we do, like the coding I do, all those things will be shared with you. Next, I am 2009 pass out, average coding skills, passion on VLSI domain, MTech VLSI, JNTU. Please could you suggest me VLSI course? Percentage also less. If for someone whose percentage is less, now what is less means I don't know. For me, the cutoff is 60%. Cutoff is 60%. Anyone less than 60%, it is always good to get into verification domain. Why it is so is my observation has been that in verification domain there are a lot of startups out there. New companies, or I will say startups, whatever definition you give. For them, hiring is more important than being particular about 70%, 80% like that. For them, hiring is more important. If the person is good, even if the person comes with 50% and the person is motivated and good, they hire. Right? So hence, whereas in physical design, you may say, then are there no startups in physical design? Less, because to start a company in physical design, you need to purchase a lot of tools. Those tools are very costly. To set up something, if I want to do some physical design related business, I have to purchase tools which may run into 1-2 crores or even more than that actually, the cost wise. So companies don't want to invest, I mean, take that risk. So hence there will be more opportunities, relatively more opportunities. Relatively, okay, I'm not telling that physical design don't have opportunities at all. No. How it works is always either VLSI industry is good, VLSI industry is bad. If industry is bad, you will not find opportunities anywhere at all. That was a situation back in 2019 where we were struggling to give even 5 to 6 opportunities to the students. Let me tell you frankly, there was a time where we were struggling to give even 5 to 6 interview opportunities to each student also. Because if companies don't hire, how can I get a company to hire a candidate? Now is the situation where almost every day one company comes. for every domain. Almost once, 1 or 2 days, once every new company comes. So we don't have many times, we don't have the candidates to give to the companies. So since I'm talking about placements, our institute doesn't give any commitment on the placements. Let me tell you, no commitment. But what we tell is till you get a job, it can be 2 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever be the case, we will continue to support you till you get a job. That much assurance I can give you, but I won't give any commitment that you will get a job by December, you will get a job by February. I won't give that commitment because there are a lot of factors that decide placement scenarios, okay, hiring job scenario. Okay, passion for VLSI. Now someone is saying 2009 pass out. Even if you are 2009 pass out, you can still get into the job. There is a possibility. What you could do is, I'll tell you, I don't generally hide too many things while I explain things. Even if it is ethical or unethical, I still tell openly. Okay. Many times what people do is they learn very well. They become as good as 2 to 3 years experienced. I mean, as good as 2 to 3 years experience. With a little more time, you can become as good as 2 to 3 years experience. There are some consultancies in the market who give that fake experience letters. I know it's being recorded, but still okay, because what is the best I can suggest I can do. Okay, there are two opportunities for them. Someone who is 2009 pass out or 2012 pass out, 2013 pass out, companies don't hire them as freshers. Let's say Altron comes, or sorry, Capgemini comes, HCL comes, Wipro comes. These people will not be eligible for that because they always ask for recent 2 to 3 years pass out, 2022, 21, 20. In that case, how 2009 pass out will get opportunity? There are two possibilities. One, where companies are there. There are around 10 to 15 companies are there in the market who hire the people with education gap only. Actually, what they do, they hire with people with education gap. Then they project that gap as an experience. Actually, whatever gap is there, like 5 years, they don't show for whole 5 years. In that 2 to 3 years, as if they worked in the company, and they get projected to the client project, and then they will hire them. Okay, there you stand very good chance. Second is you don't get any opportunity. Finally, you have to explore the worst case possibility. What is that? You get a consultancy experience, and with that you try. They support you with everything. Okay, these are the two possibilities. I don't believe in going roundabout telling many things. Rather, I come to the point and explain you what is possible. So in summary, there are two possibilities for anyone with this kind of background. One, where there are few companies in the market who hire from our institute also. If your preparation is good, they will hire you even though you are 2009, 2012, 2015 pass out. Then they show your experience as, I mean, they internally manage something and they make sure that they get you billed. So there you stand chance. Second case is what I said about consultancy. Okay, that's not a right thing or anything. I mean, it's all the person has to decide whether to do or not to do. But there are such possibilities. Next, what about the opportunities in DFT? Opportunities are very good. The advantage in DFT is less number of people in the market, actually. Fewer people in the market, but then the other side is fewer opportunities. So fewer people in market, and fewer opportunities. What is meant by fewer opportunities is it's not like only 2-3 companies hire. A lot of companies hire, but they hire in less numbers. The company may hire 4 or 5 DFT engineers. The same company will hire 30 functional verification engineers or 20 functional verification. There is that difference will always be there. But since there are very few people in the market, you can get a job opportunity easily. Okay. Even till last batch, we had a scenario where we didn't have any people to give in DFT. Actually, hiring was such that there were people who are getting opportunities easily. Now someone says, how DFT will I have career in DFT? Will I have career in functional verification? Will I have career in physical design? As long as VLSI domain is there, all these domains will have the career, because DFT is not going to go anywhere, right? Someone thinks that DFT started only 2 years back. Some student may be thinking DFT activity started only 2 years back. When do you think DFT would have started? Since the time chip was invented, because even that time they had to figure out the yield, right? Understand? Even at that time, the time where the first chip got manufactured, even at that time they had to figure out which chip is good which chip is bad. Just the DFT was there, it was in a different name, different manner. It was maybe only scan was there. Tools were not there. So that's the only difference. DFT is not like only it started 2 years back. It will only be there for 2 years, not like that. Whatever topics we are talking, DFT, physical design, functional verification, STA, everything was there since the time the chip manufacturing, the concept of chip started. Okay, you don't have to worry about those things. Only thing you have to worry about is whether the VLSI market is good or VLSI market is bad. That's the only thing you have to ask. Otherwise, there are opportunities every domain actually. Okay. More than that, you have to decide which domain is interesting for you. Okay. What topics will be taught in DFT training? I think please demo at 2 p.m. today. Let trainer give you the entire details because I'm not the right person, right? I'm into functional verification, so let him give you entire flow. But if at all you want to see the demo yourself, you can go to vlsiguru.com, DFT training, DFT course. I think DFT training, there is a demo video is there. In that you go to one demo video tab. You can see the demo. Otherwise, same thing if you want to attend live, today 2 o'clock, you can attend the session. And that link will be shared separately to you. Self-paced learning course, live training, live session timing. Typically self-paced learning course, Saturday and Sunday. It happens in 2 slots, either 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. or 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Mostly we try for this. But there is always a possibility we can't manage every trainer to be available only in the morning, right? Now, same trainer can have 2 batches, I mean 2 sessions, one in morning, one in afternoon. So in that case, it can also happen here. These are the 2 slots. Typically, institute works in 2 slots actually. Morning batch, afternoon batch. There is no early morning batch, there is no late evening batches. There are only 2 time slots in the training happens. And every Saturday and Sunday it happens. The support session will be there. Will we get tool for practical session? Those comes under online batches. Yes, everyone gets it. Everyone gets it. How it happens is we give you VPN credentials, VPN login details. Then you have Linux server login. Through that you connect to the server and you can use the tool. Okay, if time permits, I can show you how it works, but you don't need to worry about that. See, even now, if you see, there are only 7-8 students in the classroom. There are around 40 students attending online. So if I tell that only classroom students will get tool, then what online students will do? So you don't need to worry. We have the required infrastructure in the institute.
Sir, one small doubt, sir.
Yeah.
What about Windows user, sir?
Windows user also. See, Linux server means our server will be Linux. From Windows, you install something called as VNC. Through that, you connect to our server.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, Linux server doesn't mean that your operating system has to be Linux. Our server is Linux operating system.
Yeah.
There's a VNC through which you connect from Windows. It lets you connect into the Linux operating system.
Yeah.
Okay. So the access will be 24/7. Access will be 24/7. That means throughout the day it will be accessible.
Yes. Okay.
Any other questions? Next. Fees is same for self-paced learning. No, self-paced course is generally cheaper, less priced, costless. Classroom and online training, classroom and live online training cost more. The difference can be 30%, 25 to 30% variation there, because there's a difference, right? In the kind of quality service we are providing, there is a difference. In live online training, there is someone every day with you to guide you, to explain you everything. In self-paced learning, a person out of his motivation is going through the things and learning, and over the weekend he's getting support. There is a price variation is there, and you can refer to the website to get the actual fee details. Next, by taking this 6 to 7 months course for experienced people, how much experience they may show to get job with existing salary? People can show 2 to 3 years experience easily. Means you may say again, in 6 to 7 months, can I get 2 to 3 years expertise? It is possible because someone who is 3 years, they don't invent something. Okay, they don't even do research and development. They do the things whatever fresher does in a better manner. Whatever fresher does, as a fresher you join, the 2 years experienced person or 3 year experienced person does the same work in a more efficient manner. That efficiency is what we are trying to get in this 6 to 7 months time. With right effort from a student, it is possible, and there are people who are able to get into the job at that experience level. Next, what about placements? Like we have to search for opening, or after the training, any drives will be happening in campus. Okay, institute provides support till student gets a job. Most of the times, there's a 80 to 90% chance of student getting a job from institute only. 10 to 20% chance of you getting job yourself. Why is it so? Is when it comes to institute, a company has a confidence that these people have completed the training, and the company has a confidence about what topics you have learned, that they don't have to again take you through the very from basics, right? Whereas if you apply yourself, always there is a confusion, there is a doubt whether you have learned or not learned. There's always, so hence companies many times prefer working with the institute for placement, I mean getting the requirements filled up. So there you have 80 to 90% of chance of getting selected through institute. And of course, I'm not going to limit that you don't apply. Can I say that you don't try yourself? You can try yourself, of course, right? But institute will not pass that whole onus to you, that you only go and look for job. Whatever fee we charge, whatever we are taking, it all includes all that support also. Now, drives happening in the campus. See, many times it happens is that companies don't come to the institute. I mean, the company people don't come and conduct a drive here, because why? If you take Bangalore, how many training institute might be there? At least 10 institutes are there, at least 10, right? Let's say tomorrow Capgemini wants to hire, can it send people to all 10 institutes, or can they allot 10 days for this whole process to happen? No, right? They will not have so many resources, they will not have so many people. What happens in 90% of the cases is companies calls to our placement team, they ask for the profiles, they will give the criteria, this is the year of password, this is the percentage, some criteria they will give, this is the bond, this is the salary, everything. So that we post in our groups. We maintain one WhatsApp group, one WhatsApp group where everyone who needs job from the institute is added, like one WhatsApp group for DV, design verification, one WhatsApp group for DFT, one for PD, one for layout. Like that we maintain different groups. There we post that, we tell the conditions and everything. Whoever is interested, they apply for the job. There we get the profile summary, we get the resumes. That summary is all given to the company. Then they shortlist further and all that. So that then they can take it through. If you ask me, does the Wipro come to the institute? Doesn't come. Wherever you go, mostly the hiring happens at the company campus only, unless we are very well connected and they are comfortable just doing here only. Okay, as I am working, can I go with relaxed mode of learning? Yes. The institute believes in the concept that we should align with the student interest, rather than telling that you must finish course in 6 months, you must finish course in 7 months. We will give you flexibility to do at your convenience. Only thing we try to do is course access should not be misutilized, not like sharing with another 2-3 people. As long as person doesn't do that, we don't have any problem with anything, because at the end course is there for the student to benefit out of it. So there is no restriction about, even if you say that I will learn it over 1 year time and I will become expert with the subject, I will support you. There is no restriction with respect to that part of it. Even if you say that like I completed Verilog, some students does that actually. One student in fact did it himself. He did Verilog, he was good with Verilog, then he's again said I will repeat Verilog. I said okay, no problem. Then he became very good with Verilog. The next part of the learning becomes much easy for him, because once you are strong with the fundamentals, advanced learning becomes easy. So we will give you all that flexibility. Next. On the website, it was mentioned that course will be available for 1 full year, but you're saying videos will be gone in 1 week. I don't know where I mentioned about 1 full year. I'm not sure, you can point out, but what I'm telling is accurate information. Website has 100 pages. My website may have 500 pages. So updating each and every page every day or every month is not possible. So I don't know where that 1 year is there. 1 year option to repeat the course I have. Let's say you attend now Verilog till 2023 June or July, you can repeat Verilog course in the institute. That is what I would have told. If I think 1 year, if I remember, it refers to that context. Videos I don't keep for 1 year. You don't need 1 year. If you are learning seriously, 1 week is good enough for you to revise and do that, right? So anyway, whether 1 year access or 1 week access, it's a different thing. I mean, what is the right time? But as per us, we give you 1 week access. Beyond that, what is the process we follow is, let's say you completed training. If you are at the Bangalore, you can come to the institute and get the support. You can get the support from the institute. That is one possibility. Let's say you are outside Bangalore, you can pay a nominal fee. Like generally we charge 500 rupees per week, where you can request for one complete course access. Let's say System Verilog or UVM, and you can get all the recorded videos of that course and you can watch. There's a nominal fee based charge will be there after the course if you want the video access. What are the timings for weekend batch? I have already told you, right? Weekend batch, see, there is nothing like pure weekend batch. Let me be very clear. Why is it so? Is you have started, our session started at what time? 9:45. Imagine me continuing till 6:30 p.m. Would it be possible for you to take it so much? Difficult, right? Even if you have to do, let's say, even if I say we will do the labs in the afternoon, it's difficult actually. 1 weekend is fine, 2 weekends is fine, 3 is also fine. But if you have to do for 28 weekends, full 8-hour session in a Saturday, full 8-hour session on Sunday is difficult because you are already working. So hence what we decided is ideal duration for any session is 4 hours max, right? 4 hours is what you can take. Beyond 4 hours, it becomes exhaustive actually. Even if I do the projects, even if I make you do the things, rather what we do is we provide with recorded videos, provide with all recorded videos. You can, which you watch over weekends. I mean, you watch it convenient at free time. It can be weekdays, anytime you can watch it. And over the weekends, you get the complete support, revision, assignment support, labs, everything. Now the timings can be either morning slot 9 to 1 or afternoon slot 2 to 6 p.m. Next, how can we get tool in our laptop for live sessions? I told you, right? Our admin will help you install VPN and PuTTY VNC. Now these terms might be new to you. VPN, PuTTY, VNC, maybe a little bit new to you, but it's just a matter of 10 minutes where you can get used to it. It doesn't take a lot of effort here. So through this, through VPN, you connect to our server. Through PuTTY, you log into the server. Through VNC, you create a session and start working on the server. And how it is done, there will be a process where there will be a dedicated session where it will be explained to you step by step what to do. You will not face any issue related to the tool access or server access. Next. Just give me 1 minute. It is somehow stuck for some reason. Now let's get back to this question onwards. I think mostly will be done in another half an hour. Okay. Okay. Will you suggest this domain for a guy who has done BTech in 2012 ECE and have been banking industry for about 8 years with MBA post graduation? It's a tricky question, frankly, very tricky question, because you're working in banking domain. You can probably make a more success in being in banking domain itself, or getting into some related domain, right? You can get into some finance domain. So it's a very tricky question. Please be in mute. Please be in mute. Okay. So the two things are there. One is you're passionate about VLSI, you want to come, then I suggest. If you are not passionate, then I don't suggest. Just because you see that there are people getting placed in VLSI, don't come, because you will have to again put lot of effort to reach to a point where you can get. And someone with gap in education, I mean, are working in a different domain, it's equally challenging. It's even more challenging, because for a fresher, there is an opportunity almost every 2-3 days as of today. But for someone with gap or working in different domain, you either has to wait for the companies who hire people with education gap, as I told you earlier, or you have to go for some kind of consultancy based fake experience. I mean, I don't want to use any other words. I'll use exact words only. Okay. If you don't want to, if you feel that no, I should not do that, then it's not the right move for you to get into VLS industry. So I hope I was able to answer your question.
Sir, can I ask you?
Yeah.
I was the one who asked you that question, sir.
Yeah.
Like as I said, I'm a PG, I'm an MBA grad, was in the industry for 8 years in the banking sector.
Yeah.
So as you said, you can opt to other wings also in the finance industry kind of a thing, sir.
Yeah.
So I don't see much of it's a kind of routine work actually, and when compared to the other industries, the growth in banking industry is somewhat less.
Okay.
So the only reason that I'm looking into VLSI domain is to get a good growth.
Okay. Yeah. So what you can do
That
is,
that
Yeah, there are two things you need to do. First, what you have to do is, before you join into any training course, you create a resume. Okay, how it will
Okay,
look
okay.
7 months of training. You foresee the 7 months. You have projects. You upload it to different job portals today itself. Now the question comes:
Okay.
where will I get the projects from? Where will I get the projects from? You go to our website, you will get it. Just go to our website. I can point you to that page where you can get the courses. Let's say you go to VLSI.com, one VLSI functional verification course for freshers. There is such link where you can get the projects. You just need to put the same projects in your resume, and by the time you complete training after 7 months, you would have done those projects. But right away, apply with those projects with a different name or whatever. You may keep your Vishnu, or you may keep some other name, so that your name should not go into the database exactly. You see whether your
Yes.
resume gets shortlisted. See whether your resume gets shortlisted. If it gets shortlisted, very good. Then that means that you will have a confidence that even after training completion, I'll have opportunities. If your resume doesn't get shortlisted, then you do the assessment. Why I'm not getting opportunity? Is it because of my banking experience? Okay, let's say you are not getting. Then you try to put some consultancy experience. You assume that you are going to have a consultancy experience. You put it. Then see whether you will get shortlisted. I want you to do all that assessment, all that analysis before you do the course. Otherwise, what happens is you will end up wasting money and time, and finally you see that I'm not getting opportunities. Rather, you do that whole planning now itself. If you feel, please be in mute. When you don't have question, please be in mute. There's a lot of there's those attending online. Please be in mute when you don't have question, because unknowingly there is a noise comes from your side, and it disturbs everyone else in the class, including those in class, those attending online, others get disturbed. So whenever you don't have a question, please be in mute. So what I was telling you is, in summary, don't directly join the training. Take 1 month time, assess what opportunities you will have after 7 months of training or 6 months of training. You create your resume as if you have completed the training. You assume that you have completed the training. You approach some consultancies today itself. You put your resume. If you feel that you're getting at least 15 interviews, how many interviews you should get? At least 10 to 15, minimum 10 you should get. Only then join the training. Otherwise, better not to join. Okay, other than that, you need to do a realistic assessment of how much time do you have. If you have, let's say in a week you have less than 10 hours of time to prepare for this training, then don't join the training. You should take up the training only if you have minimum of 20 hours per week. You should be able to spare 20 hours per week, then only join for the training. Otherwise, better not to join, because if you have 10 hours, it'll take you 55 weeks. Right? 55 weeks means 1 full year. So what you learned in first week, you almost have forgotten by the time you reach last week. So better to take up the course only if you can spend at least 15 to 20 hours, minimum 15 to 20 hours.
So can I?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, sir. I definitely will have a 15 to 20 hours time per week. There's no doubt about it, sir. I can manage my time. But let me be very frank with you, sir. Even I would like to join a 2-3 years experienced guy, so that only I can match my package here, and currently what time package that I am having. So in that manner also, shall I try putting preparing a CV with that projects and all?
Yes, you should do that. Exactly, you should do that, because see, my whole point is you should do the basic analysis. Will I be able to get the opportunities? Only then join the course. If it is a fresher, right, someone who is this year or previous year or 2 years back passed out, there is no confusion with them, because I know that there will be companies who will be at least giving them opportunities. Clearing or not clearing is a different thing, but at least they will get the interview opportunities. In your case, there are fewer companies, 10 or 15 companies. Again, they should have the requirements. A lot of ifs are there, right? So in that case, that's where I'm telling you, do the basic analysis. Only if you are satisfied, then you go ahead and join the course.
Even if you put 2-3 years experience also, no sir, it not gonna work out, or
No, it will work out. But I want you to see how you are going to show the experience, from where you are going to show the experience. That analysis I want you. Okay, you can call me directly. I think we can't really talk too many things here.
of course sir, can I have
yeah, you can call me on this number. You just talk to them and you get meeting scheduled with me. Then I can be available as per that. You just WhatsApp on this number that I want to talk to Srinivas. So they will schedule the meeting.
That would be great, sir. Thank you so much.
Next, daily, how much time we need to study? Any work from home options for freshers? For me, functional verification or PD, which is good. In verification, no need to write the code, right? Only finding bugs. No. So in verification, no need to write code. It's not like that. To find the bugs, you need to develop a test bench. To find the bugs, I told you, right? You can't find the bugs just by looking at the code. You have to find the bugs by developing the test bench. Developing test bench is about learning the languages like System Verilog and UVM. So hence you need to be good with programming. Coding, you should have good coding skills. Now, which domain is good for you? I can't suggest, I can't tell exactly. Again, as I told you, interested in programming kind of domain, interested in a domain where you will be understanding the design, understanding the specification and implementing the test bench kind of code. Functional verification is good. Otherwise PD. But as I suggest, when you have such a doubts, you start with any domain. Let's say you start with PD. You try for 2 months, complete 2 months. You are fine, you continue. Else, join other domain. Vice versa, you can start with Verilog. Let's say you like today's demo session, you feel okay, you can manage coding also. You start with verification. You try for 2 months. By the time you completed Verilog also, you have a very good idea about what is digital, what is Verilog, everything. And you feel that you're not good with coding based job, then you switch to PD, you switch to DFT, you switch to layout. There is no question asked at all. Even though your training is done for 2 months, I'm not going to say 2 months fee will be cut and adjusted. No, up to 2 months I'll give you option, but not after 6 months, right? So there has to be cutoff time where I say that this is the time where I'm going to allow you. Beyond that, it won't be allowed. So 2 months is the time where you can still choose to move between one domain to other domain. Now as I said, it's not a waste of time. It's not going to be a waste of time. Whatever you do in the institute, there will be a learning every day. Even if it means you are doing Verilog and switching to other domain, that knowledge you gained in 2 months will be useful somewhere. If we are trying unable to attend classroom session, if there is a practical class going on, how can we practice it? Through remote VMS. It's not VMS, it is remote VNC or VPN, right? So it is possible because now how the classroom and online training works is, classroom and online training has exactly same schedule. Like some of you are attending classroom, some of you are attending online. Tomorrow also same, some of you will attend in classroom, same set of people attend online. So the same schedule will follow. And there is a hybrid mode also where you can choose to attend 1 or 2 sessions from home also. I'm not going to ask you why today you are attending online. Let's say even if you are absent for 3-4 days, I'm not going to ask you. But as long as you complete the course assignments, as long as you do well in the evaluation test, I'm not going to question why you are attending, why you are not attending also, right? Now coming to your question, how we are going to do the practical class, there is a server setup. Institute has a setup where servers are there, VPN hardware is there. You will be provided with a login. So you will be provided with VPN login. So you log into VPN, then it allows you to invoke putty, then you log into server, then you log into VNC, start working. Now it looks very new and very, maybe for some of you it may be looking complicated. It's not complex, hardly 10 minutes process to learn everything. And how to connect to VPN, how to log in, how to log into putty, everything is a 10 minutes process. All it will require is one login name and one password. You just enter, you will connect. Again, to log into the server, you need one login name, one password. Through that you log in. Then how to use the server, trainer will explain you, right? I mean, when I do everything on server, you will also learn how to do it on server. So even if you are attending from online, you can very much do. There are people who have attended complete training from US itself. US and outside India or outside of Bangalore also, let it be, right? It doesn't matter whether once you are outside Bangalore, doesn't matter where you are, right? In all those cases also they were able to do, and they were able to get the job also pretty much. Does BSc science, BSc computer science can do functional verification? No, because they can do, but job wise they won't get job. Mostly companies expect at least MSc, BTech, MTech. These are the only eligible domains. If you are a BSc student, companies don't shortlist your resume. So better don't join for the with the BSc background. Next, in your discussion, I heard there is a marketing department also in VLSI. You can MBA guy with experience in marketing apply for that role. Now we have to look into the company. I mean, since I am into VLSI technical domain, I never got exposed to marketing part of the companies. But I believe that companies will have a team which looks into marketing the products, right? You can of course log into the companies like product companies like Intel, Qualcomm. They will have the careers page. There you can look for any such roles, right? So, but I am not sure about how that hiring specifically happens. Next, PD, which nanometer technology we are going to use? We'll be working at 14 nanometer technology node, and tools will be complete Synopsys, ICC2, Prime Time, Design Compiler, Star RC, and IC Validator. These are the 5 tools will be there, which will be used for the entire physical design. Next, is year of pass out important criteria? Should I say yes or no? Yes, very much important criteria. Okay, if you are recent 2-3 years of pass out, you have a lot of opportunities. Anything beyond that, your opportunities keeps reducing. Then there are different ways in which you have to approach the job. So it is very important. Actually, year of pass out is very important for you. Next, will the hard copy provided to online and e-learning students? If yes, will it be given topic wise or 6 months period? See, currently the plan is the whole material is divided into 6 booklets. Let's say in our functional verification, 6 booklets, and mostly the plan is to just give all at once. Right? Plan is to give complete material at once. It will be given to online students also. It will be given to e-learning students also. If there is any minor cost, we'll let you know. I mean, again, we are still thinking how to approach this part of it. But the cost won't be more than 1,000 rupees. Even though we are talking about 6 books, it won't be more than 1,000. If at all there is a cost. Next, down the line, how many years can we expect VLSI segment to be in boom, or else it is evergreen sector? The evergreen is a very this term. So there is nothing like evergreen. Electronics may not exist after 100 years. After 100 years, electronics may not exist anyway. By then, you and me are not there, right? At least for foreseeable 30-40 years, it seems to be there, right? At least for till the time petrol and diesel is there, electronics will be there. Once petrol and diesel is done, no electronics will be there, because to drive anything, the fuel energy is required. So once the energy is done and we are purely dependent on solar energy for everything, no electronics will work. So till that time, I see that domain will be. Now, one second. When it comes to evergreen, there will always be ups and downs, right? Whatever hiring I see today, the same hiring was not there in 2020. Same hiring was not there in 2019. So again, it may go down in 2023-24. I don't know when. Again, it may come, but it's not going to die down, because for every application, everything you do, you need hardware. Even though they say artificial intelligence, they say data science, they say IoT, whatever you do, finally everything has to be done on what? Some piece of hardware only, right? So hardware will not go anywhere. As I said, unless as long as fuel continues to be there, electronics will continues to be there. Now, but there can be ups and downs in the market for sure, right? I want you to be mentally prepared for that. When you join the training, I want you to come mentally prepared for that. Things are good, you are getting placed immediately, but there can be a time where you don't get the opportunities every day. There you have to see positive side, where how can I keep myself becoming better with the subject, so good that eventually I'll get a job. Even as a training institute, I believe in the same concept. I don't believe in the concept of I should get you job. I believe in the concept of enabling you, give the required knowledge, give you so much knowledge and so much confidence in you that you will have the confidence of getting job yourself also. That is more important, right? You see, just by through something I get a job and you don't learn the subject, you will have a tough time in the job. But if you learn the subject, you will survive anywhere, right? That's what we believe. The whole 6 months or 7 months is planned in such a way that that happens in the same manner. When your learning is planned in such a way that every day there's a practice happening, there is assignments which prepares you for understanding a problem and how to approach the problem and how to implement that solution in a proper manner. Okay. Answer is yes, there is hiring. I mean, VLSI domain seems to be good, and you see there is a lot of activity happening in the India, because government is, why government is focusing, because a lot of our money dollars goes outside of country because of what? Electronics purchase, right? We purchase 1 lakh laptops, some $1 billion are gone outside India, millions of dollars at least, if not billion. So how can we get forex into India, have electronics manufactured in India? I think that is where government of India is focusing on setting up fabrication plants. I think things are moving in that direction. You might have heard of some plant coming up in Mysore, and something might even come up, right, in next 5 to 10 years, and that will result in more electronics activity happening in India. So at least, so from that perspective, things seems to be good. But as I said, no one can predict the recession, when the things can go down suddenly, right? And at that time, no one can give any guarantee regarding the jobs. But in general, yes, things seems to be good. Yeah, please tell me.
So how will we get the hard copy of the booklets if we are
We
purchasing the online course?
book post, India book post. Right.
Okay.
Next. No, see, again, we don't want to do, but if there is anything, we'll let you know. How will we schedule for weekdays batch? It's all same, 6 days, Sunday off, 9:30 to 1:30 p.m. Sometimes schedule can be in the afternoon also. Sometimes it can be from 2:30 to 6:30 also, but mostly we target for this only. Now someone asked, what will be the lab timings? There is no separate lab timings. Same timings, one day can be theory, next day will be labs. Now you may ask, what will I do from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. then? So we give you assignments, you need to complete those assignments. So we'll tell you what to do, what all things you can do. It's all about how do you take out time and work on those things. Next, as I have working day on Saturday, so that if I cannot attend session on Saturday, self-paced learning course, you will get the recorded video. What we do is, whatever session we do, we by default record it. Whether it's useful or not, whether it's a repetition of the same topic or not, we record it. We upload it to our portal. If someone requires access, we provide him with that access. By default, those attending live training, they get that gets uploaded, and you keep having the access, at least for 1 week duration. Next, do we need to use personal laptop, or institute will provide the laptop? The institute has some systems where you can practice. Okay, so but it is always good to have a personal laptop. It is always good to have a personal laptop where you can be connected from home and you can be practicing the things. So you don't have to be compulsorily at the institute. In that case, institute timings will be from, let's say, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. During that time, you can log into the systems in the institute and practice. But beyond that, if you want to do, better to have a personal laptop. Next, is there any WhatsApp group batch for all live session course students? Everyone gets separate link for joining the live session course. There will be a WhatsApp group. That's the easiest way, right? What we do is right now, starting from this month, what we are doing is we are giving a batch number. I mean, we have a batch number based on rough idea. We have a batch 71. Let's say we are starting, for example. Throughout the course, you will be in the same WhatsApp group. Digital, Verilog, system, Verilog, everything will be same WhatsApp group. Finally, once you complete training, you will be added into placement support group. There's a different group, and through that you get the placement support. So all the communication happens through that specific group going forward. Next. It's been 10 years since I completed BTech. How to start from ABCD? So can we expect strong fundamental basics training? Yes, everything will be covered from basics. Everything covered very much from the basics. Let's say when I say digital design, we start off from what is AND gate, what is OR gate, what is XOR gate, what is truth table, what is K-map, what is Boolean expression, what is the logic minimization means, everything. All that you, and only challenge I will tell you, only challenge in all this is things move quickly. Let me tell you, things move very quickly. By the time you realize that digital has started, in 3 weeks it has completed already. Same thing happens with every other course. Even Verilog language I am talking about, which I said 3 to 4 weeks, right? That language itself is what you do over 1 semester time. And again, I'll tell you, whatever Verilog language we do at least more than 2 to 3 times more than what you do in college. In Verilog in college, what you might have done: basic Verilog syntax, data flow, behavioral modeling, understood some combination logic, multiplexer, AND gate, OR gate, decoder, pre-auth encoder, then writing Verilog code, writing the test bench. That is where most of the colleges stop. They don't go into sequential logic more deep, maybe D flip-flop. That's where it stops. Our course will go more deep into it, and that whole thing happens in 4 weeks time. That's the only point where you will feel the complexity with the course. That's where we have a solution where if you find it complex, we give you option to repeat the course. I'm not even going to question you why you are repeating, because the course is not just for completion purpose. Course is for students' benefit. At the end, the student has to learn and benefit out of the course. So you should not be thinking, oh, I will be losing 1 month time, or I will be losing 2 months time. Your approach should be, at the end of my course, let it take 7 months, let it take 9 months. How can I be good with the subject? How can I become expert with the subject? That expertise is what gets you the job, not the training certificate. Training certificate won't get you the job. It's the expertise and the confidence level is what gets you the job. So even we have a criteria, based on that we decide whether you should repeat the course, or you can voluntarily repeat the course. So yeah, coming to this question, everything starts from the basics. You need to spend adequate time to make sure that you prepare things properly. Next, post course completion, how much time we can use lab? See, post course completion, you will still have access to edaplayground.com. There you can practice everything, and practice things there, right? But beyond course completion, if you want server access at institute premises, you can do. There is no cost for that, at least for 1 year duration. If you are attending from online, there is a nominal charges will be charged. If you for giving VPN access, there will be a nominal charges per month basis that need to be paid. I think that charges is 2,500 plus tax. If you are attending from home and you need one extended access, there will be a charge for that. For batch, how many students? See, in classroom there are 6 students or so. In online there are 32. It will come down to, I mean, this includes DFT also. Some of them are DFT students also, 31, including me, it's 32. So we are talking about around 37 people. Not everyone will enroll. So what do you think roughly batch will end up into? 25 people. I mean, assuming all 32 won't enroll, they are all not enrolled, they are attending demo class, maybe 80 to 90% will enroll. We'll have a batch of 25 to 30 people in a batch. And that's a healthy strength. We don't have a 100 people batch. We generally don't keep 100 people batch, except for 1 or 2. See, sometimes what happens in one of the cases, one company gave me 85 people to do training. One company selected 85 people and gave me training. I said, I don't have time to run 2 batches. Then I'm doing training for all 85 and another 15 people. So 100 people I'm doing at a time. Except for that, our generally batch strength will be 25 to 30 maximum. That's where is ideal, where I can give attention to each student also. Okay. Yeah. Is laptop necessary for functional verification domain? I told, right, it is necessary because everything you do is coding only. You can't do coding in the notes, right? It has to be done in the laptop and it need to be checked whether you have done it properly or not. So for that you require a laptop. I think we are done. Another 7 questions are there. Mostly we will be done. Those who don't have any questions and want to log off from the session or want to leave from the session are free. You can, I mean, you're okay. I'm okay you leaving, because this is question and answers. If you have any questions, I'll answer. Otherwise, you're okay to leave the session. Next. One thing I want to tell about registration, in case you are interested to join the course will mostly start from Tuesday, 99%. 1% is for Wednesday. Okay. There is a remote possibility that we might start from Wednesday, not beyond Wednesday. Why 2-3 days gap is because we need some time to close the enrollments to make sure that the batch is set up completely. Then we start off with the course. Otherwise, what happens if I start from tomorrow? 10 people will join in Monday, another 5 people will join on Tuesday. It becomes problem for me to cope up, make them cope up with the course, because one day you miss some topic, and next day has a dependency on what I have done today. The next day always has a dependency on what I have done today, right? So hence, rather than starting in hurry, we want to take 2-3 days break, make sure that everyone enrolls, and then start off. Even those who are attending online or those in classroom, in case you are planning to join, please join as soon as possible, because don't think that I will join by Friday, all that. The thing is, 2-3 days you miss many things actually, because 1 hour itself we do many things. You imagine 2 days, 8 hours or 12 hours of sessions. There's a lot of things you would have missed. Again, to catch up with that, what you have missed, you'll have to spend time. So that's all becomes a problem for you. So if you have decided, you can join. So to enroll, you don't need to pay the complete fee. You can pay just 5,000 to this account. And confirm enrollment. Then there is a process where you can pay the fee in installments. That whole thing will be explained to you. This link itself has the complete details. Once you pay, how do you complete your enrollment? Everything will be there in that link itself. Next. Okay, I think probably last set of questions. Okay, if for some reason, okay, if for some reason I was not able to come to classroom for a particular day, online live sessions will be given. Yes, see what I told is you will be added into WhatsApp group. Doesn't matter whether you are a classroom student or online student. Every day session link will be posted in that group. In fact, that will be informed to you 1 week ahead itself. If you are not able to come to the classroom, you can attend online using that link. If you anyway come to the institute, you attend offline. Okay. If I opt for online sessions for doubt clearing purpose or any help, can I come to institute for assistance? Will you allow? Of course. See what happens. Whether online session, whether you are attending classroom, fee is same. We don't differentiate a student whether he is classroom or whether he is online. When it comes to placement, also both get equal support, exact same support. Only thing is, what is online here is you are not able to come. I can't force you to come. You are in Hyderabad. I can't ask you to come to Bangalore and compulsorily attend, right? Then what I will do? I will lose students. They will say, no, I won't come. So we are giving that flexibility. That's all. If you tell me that one week I'll come to offline, 1 week I'll attend online, again 1 week attend offline, no problem. Because for me, what is there, right? There is nothing for me to lose, right? At the end, we will give you whatever is flexible for you. As per your flexibility, you can do the course. Next. Okay, even for doubt clearing, you can come. How doubt clearing works, I'll tell you. See, typically every day we have live training session, right? You see, there is every day there is a live training session. Whatever doubts you have, you always keep it for the next day. Next day morning, some session happens. Some trainer will be interacting with you. Initial half an hour will be spent to clarify your doubts. Okay, so that way, whatever doubts you have, you can always ask. Generally, we encourage students to ask the doubts in the class instead of one-to-one doubts. Why? Because everyone benefits out of the questions, right? Let's say someone is asking, you are benefiting out of these questions. So instead of one-to-one direct doubt clarification, unless it is very much required, we encourage students to ask the questions in the classroom itself. Next, I am 2020 passed out, working in Infosys. If I want to enter into VLSI domain, will company accept me as a fresher or willing to provide placement? See, if you are working in Infosys for 2020, so you can show by the time you complete training, it will be 2020, let's say December. You can show yourself as a 2.5 years experienced in Infosys into VLSI domain, understand? Infosys does have a small VLSI division. With that, you can try, and you can try as a 2.5 years experienced person, and you can even get a job as a 2.5 years experienced person. And this is what many people do. Actually, people from Wipro, Infosys who are working into different domain, non-VLSI domain, they undergo training and they do get jobs. And it's very easy for this person to get a job. I don't know what is the name of the person who asked this question.
That's my question.
Yeah, it is very much possible, 100% possible. Let's say you are in company called as Wells Fargo, for example. I don't know whether you heard. It's a pure software company. Okay. There are some companies which don't have any VLSI division or they don't have any embedded system division. In those companies, it's difficult to justify. Let's say pure banking, finance companies are there. Finance related companies are there. Okay. There you can't justify, right? How you worked into VLSI in that. Other than that, if you are into HCL, you are into Wipro, you are into TCS, you are into Capgemini, you are into even Accenture, everywhere you can justify that we had a small we had a VLSI division, I was part of it. And this is what people do, and people do get job like that. Now the question comes, my designation is software engineer. How can I get? People don't see that. Okay, they are not hiring you as a company founder, right? And you are not being hired as a director of the company. You are being hired for a fresher job role or 2-3 years experienced person. What do they want? They don't want your designation. They want your performance. How well you do in the job, how well you do in the interview, that's sufficient for them. Right? Even when you go to background verification, the background verification doesn't go to your technical manager. Where does it stop? It stops with HR manager. Your Infosys HR team, it stops. Then based on that, they will say that you worked in Infosys, you worked at this salary, you worked from this date to this date. And maybe I'm telling it very easily. It is that easy actually. Maybe you are thinking he's taking it too easily. People get worried themselves. They think that what if company figures out that I was into this project? How will I know? Tell me. So how do I know which team you are into in Infosys? How do I know who is your manager in Infosys? How do I know what is your domain of work in Infosys? Unless you tell, there is no way for someone else to figure out. They won't mention anything. Just a software engineer from 2020 to 20. That's all. They won't tell this project he has worked, nothing. In any way, company don't bother so much. A company who wants to hire, they don't bother so much, because if you perform well and you do well in the job, they're okay to hire.
Whether he is in IT field also, he can.
Very much. I'm telling about other non-VLSI domain only. Non-VLSI. Let's say you are into networking domain, you are into HR team, which is completely non-related to anything at all, right? Even then you can still get in. And 99% success ratio is there. 99% chance that you can get into VLSI domain. When I say 99%, I don't want to say 100%, because there's always a remote possibility that it doesn't happen, but in many cases it happens. Next, I'm working in as a project manager in IT company, has 16 years experience in IT. Will I get opportunities in functional verification or PD? It's again, which company is it? We have to know. If it is anyway related to a company where some VLSI division is there, let's say TCS has a VLSI division, Wipro has, Infosys has, Tech Mahindra has, right? All these big companies have. So where in any of these companies you have worked, again you have to undergo training. The only problem here is you can't get in as a 16 years experience person, right? And now you'll have to go at a lesser experience, or you have to get into VLSI as a project manager only. Even VLSI has a project manager role. You need to learn the things at top level, the flow at top level, and you should try for project manager role in VLSI. So that is possible. See, you don't need to specifically get into this. This person who has 16 years experience, he doesn't have to get into specific topic. He can try for project manager in VLSI domain itself. It is possible actually. There are people who have recently they have done. So then they took one of our e-learning course because they wanted to understand the complete flow. Next, I am 2009. Can I do live like uploading resumes in portal? I told yes. Anyone can try this one. I mean, whoever is 2015 or before pass out, create resume, upload resume. You don't get calls. You again have to figure out how am I going to do this. Only once you're convinced, you join the training. Otherwise, don't join the training, because you will be wasting the time and money. See, if you don't have a clarity, see, for a fresher, there's a clarity. What is the clarity? Once I complete the training, institute can get me chances, opportunities. For people with gap, I can only give limited opportunities. There are hardly 10 to 50 companies who hire people with education gap. In other cases, what will you do? If that also don't work, what will you do? So the answer for that is, first upload your resume, see whether you are getting opportunities, what else should be done to get opportunities. Then based on that you proceed. If you need more information, you can connect with me. I have given my number where you can just send WhatsApp. Okay, WhatsApp to this number saying the context. What is the context in which you want to talk to me? Then I can always have a discussion. Discussion context, so that I know who is the person and what is that we have to. Accordingly, our team will schedule the call with me. Next, I am a postgraduate passed out in 2021, working in patent. Will this create any disadvantage for me to get into VLSI industry? See, nothing is a disadvantage, right? Whatever you do for earning, nothing is a disadvantage. It's just that it may not become the experience for you. But since you are 2021 pass out, you can always get in to the industry. In fact, with the same profile, there are 3 people came to me 2 years back, and all of them got jobs. Actually, the background was they're from some NIT. They're from NIT, and they got into one of the companies because they might have offered a lot of good salaries to start with. They might have got into that company. Later, they figured that it was a patent company, and generally the work opportunities, growth opportunities limited in this domain. Then they came to us for training. All 3 of them got jobs within 6 to 7 months of starting the training. Next, Finished 2013 ME communication system. I'm working as an assistant professor in college. Can I join this course? Again, same thing. If you are anything more than 2013, you should be mentally prepared to get consultancy experience. That's the worst. Nothing happens that you have to do. If you feel that no, I can't do such work, getting experience later and trying, then don't look for job opportunities. Because if you don't do here, somewhere someone will do that for you. Let's say you, even if I told right, one company is going to hire you, they're going to show your gap as experience finally. If you are mentally prepared for that, then you can do. Otherwise, better not to do. And coming to this profile, assistant professor, my experience has been people with this teaching background has a good chance of getting job in VLSI. Any, for that matter, any domain, people who have prior teaching experience have a better chance of getting job, because companies, I told right, companies hire people with education gap. They actively hire people from this background because these people are stable actually. Someone from teaching background, they tend to stay much longer with a company compared to other profiles. So that is one positive here. And other positive is what, being a teacher, they are better at learning the things because they know what is the effort that goes into teaching, so they learn better. And our success ratio with teachers is almost 90% plus. I would say 100% itself. I mean, I had always scenario where whoever came from teaching background to us, within a year or so, in a year, they were able to get into the job. I mean, if someone doesn't prepare at all, they don't have time in the college, then we can't say much. But if those who came from teaching background and they tried seriously, they were able to get it. Next batch will start 20 August. Next, what configuration do we need? You need at least
One question, sir.
1 second, i3 and 4 GB RAM at least. Yeah, please tell me.
Sir, you have mentioned gap, right? Gap or execution gap. Just I want to understand, like, gap during execution or after execution, while getting the job. What exactly?
After the time you got the degree certificate. Let's say you got
Okay.
BTech degree. In between, if you have any gap, that won't matter much. The gap is, I'm talking about the time since you have passed out from the college. Okay.
Thank you.
So i3 4 GB RAM is good. Any better, any configuration other than will be good. Let's say i5 will be even better. 8 GB RAM will be better. Now you may say, can't I use AMD laptops? You can use Ryzen processor, something is there, right? Right. Yeah, again, there will be some multiple generations of that. You have to figure out which one is in line with this one. Accordingly, you can choose. Next, embedded domain experience, will they accept? They consider as a fresher only. See, if you are working in embedded domain, show that same experience as a VLSI experience. Let's say you worked in one company in embedded domain for 2 years. You don't show embedded experience. You show VLSI experience there. Because if that company is embedded, it's somehow related to electronics domain, right? And you can show that electronics experience as a VLSI experience. And the training you undergo in the institute will give you enough expertise to show that much experience. Okay. So answer is what? Embedded 2 years experience can be considered if you show it as a VLSI experience. And we will give you projects to justify 2 years experience. Next, want to learn only Verilog. I don't want complete. Yes, you can do. That batch is also starting. I mean, you can always enroll only for Verilog course itself. That option is there. You can only enroll only for digital design. You can only enroll for Verilog language only. Getting the point? See, for me, at the end of the day, why should I restrict a student from joining? Right? Because if you don't get here, you will join somewhere else. If I say I don't give Verilog, you will join some other place. Then why should I lose my business? Whatever you need, I'll tell. Let's say I will give you. You only want AXI protocol. There is a course where I will only give you AXI protocol. So it is not compulsory to do complete 6.5 months course. Next, I'm not added into WhatsApp.
The fees also will be different, right, sir?
Fees accordingly will be varying. Of course, it will be less.
Okay, complete fees I no need to pay.
No, of course, no need to pay.
Thank you, sir.
It will be charged only for that part of the course. What is Let's say my whole Verilog language cost is, let's say 12,000 for example. Language might be half of that component, so you'll be charged only 6,000 rupees fee for that. I am not added in any WhatsApp group for live session notification. Can I pay the total fee in 3 installments? Okay. Now you will be added. See what happens. The batch start date is for Tuesday. So you know, right, during this time, a lot of enrollments will be happening, and we are also starting physical design batch. We are starting DFT batch. We are starting layout batch. There will be more activity now, right? See, whatever we didn't had for 2-3 weeks before, now there will be activity. So there will be a chance of 1 or 2 days delay. Hence, don't be worried about that. You will be added surely. Okay, and you will get all the notifications. And 3 installment, please talk to finance team. They will help you if how it can be done. Okay, in some cases it is possible to pay in 3 installments. Next, what about weekend batch? Whether it will start from tomorrow or next weekend? We will be starting the weekend batch from next Saturday onwards. But I would suggest you to don't wait for Saturday to enroll now itself, because even if you pay the fee today or after 1 week, it's the same, right? There is no additional interest component you are going to benefit out of it. But what is the benefit you get is you get that 1 week time for you to prepare through the material, because weekend batch means you have to go through the videos and prepare yourself for the next session. Then the next session will be focused on revision, assignment, support, everything. If you haven't gone through anything, it's difficult, right? If you haven't gone through anything, it's difficult for us to teach you the things on that day. Next, we are located in Bangalore. Can you suggest online or offline mode? I think offline mode is more beneficial. See, always offline is more beneficial than online. Online is more beneficial than simple, right? Even if you ask any student, 10th class student, he will tell the same thing. Then when will you go for online? You are outside Bangalore, you don't have any other option, and you are available, you go for online. When you go for e-learning, you don't have time, you're working and you can't align with the timings, then you go for e-learning. But let me tell you, this disadvantage is very minimal. See, this will be, let's say, 90% effective. This is 95%. So this will be, so I'm talking about a small variation, okay, 5% variation. Now they may ask, how did you get 90, 95, 100? No, there is no such calculation. I just told you that there is no much variation. It all comes down to your motivation. Mostly it's all driven by willingness to learn and having that vision or whatever, that I should learn and I should get into the job. That should be motivating you every day to do better. Right? Next, I think we are done. Functional verification related to Java development domain. I'm new to Java. I don't know, but it's of course related to Java. What you do in Java, you use object-oriented programming to develop various classes and connect them and set up the environment. Same thing we do in functional verification also. We develop every component using classes. DFM is developed as a class. Generator is developed as a class. Monitor is developed as a class. Everything is connected to set up the environment. You won't, if you are very good with Java, you will find functional verification very easy. If you are good with Java, functional verification becomes very simple for you to learn. I think last 2-3 questions. Another 2-3 questions, we are done. Okay. 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 Next question: Will it help if we have experience as a Java developer functional verification? Yes, very much. I told right. Java, you do object-oriented programming, you gain complete expertise with object-oriented programming. Functional verification is also about expertise with object-oriented programming. If you are good with object-oriented programming, you can become a very good functional verification engineer, because all this system Verilog and UVM are about object-oriented programming only. I am a slow learner, but I have interest in VLSI. There is nothing like slow learner or fast learner. You will get support. Whatever be your learning mode, we will adopt our course as per your requirement. Let's say you're slow learner, instead of 6.5 months you want to do in 10 months, we'll give you option to do it in 10 months time. So we'll give you option to repeat, or we'll give you option to take breaks and do the course as per your convenience. But experience letter will be in other domains. So how? As I told you, right? Let's say you are working in Infosys, for example, since someone asked, as a software engineer. Let's say your experience letter itself shows that you are a software engineer. Other company won't even bother whether you are a hardware engineer or software engineer. All they need is the knowledge. You should be good. Let's say if I hire you, you should come and perform in the team very well, right? Then doesn't matter. So it absolutely doesn't matter, because in Infosys, how it works, they won't give any VLSI designation. Everyone is a software engineer, everyone is a senior software engineer, everyone is a manager. I mean, whoever is in that positions, right? So it doesn't matter really. PhD students can do, of course you can do. I mean, why can't PhD student do? I mean, they're more eligible to do, right? Because you have done the research and you are more eligible to learn the subject. You can do, of course. Okay. And there are people who have done and who have got the jobs also. It all comes down to spending that 6 months time properly and gaining the expertise. Anyone can do, actually. I mean, anyone from computer science and electrical, electronics related engineering streams can always do VLSI training and they can get jobs. Even PhD people can do. Next. As a Java developer, which is better option? I told, right, functional verification is the best option. Because as a Java developer, you are already good with coding and you are good with object-oriented programming. So naturally, functional verification is the right choice. Next, complete course for the fee. It depends upon which course, I mean, what mode of learning. So please connect with this number. Give institute number, right? There you can get the complete details. See, for a full training, full-time course, it's 63 plus GST. But for other details, please get connected. You will get the complete details there. Next, coming to protocols, only few are enough, or we need to master all protocols? Only few are enough, or we need to master all protocols? Few good protocols are enough. I mean, he's talking about protocols. In VLSI, there is something called as on-chip protocols. There is something called as peripheral protocols. On-chip protocols itself are multiple: AXI, AHB, OCP, APB, ASB, ATB. There will be many such protocols are there. Peripheral protocols are also many are there: USB, PCIe, SATA, UFS. There will be many: I2C, SPI, UART. You don't need to learn each and every protocol. Let's say even if you learn AXI, AHB, if you have complete expertise, then every other protocol is easy for you, because one protocol and other protocol, they don't differ too much. It's like very simple example is AXI can be like high-end bike. What is high-end bike? I don't know. F series or some bikes are there, right? APB is like a TVS 50. I don't know whether TVS 50 comes or not. Once you know TVS 50 how to ride, after a few weeks of practice, you can learn high-end bikes also, right? So it's a gradual progress there. So once you know how to ride high-end bike, you can ride any other bike. The same concept. So once you learn a few complex protocols, you can easily learn other protocols. It's not so you don't have to learn each and every protocol. Same thing here. So here PCI is like a high-end bike. Now in peripheral, which is similar to high-end bike, PCI, it is among the complex protocols. If you learn PCI, you can learn any other protocol easily. So that means what? You don't have to learn every protocol. See, you should gain so much expertise that once you know PCI, if someone tells you that I will give you 3 weeks time, learn UFS protocol. You should have that confidence that yes, I know how to go through the document and how to read that. That is the confidence we need. And you can't be really prepared with everything, right? Tomorrow you go to a project, you will get a new document, new protocol. So that these protocols will prepare you for that. Any questions? I think we are done.
Sir, when do you expect the next step?
I'll tell you. Daily, apart from training, how much time need to spend on coding? 3 to 4 hours outside of training can spend. You will get a job. I mean, mostly people don't do this. We are done. Okay, mostly people don't do this. This is where they suffer. Actually. After the training, people don't spend this time. Actually, that 3 to 4 hours I'm telling. That's where people have difficulty. Okay. I think we are done with all the questions. Any other questions? You had something.
We don't know what is the name of still now we don't know what is the name of the Verilog. How we go through the how we go through the coding.
No, we will teach everything from basics. See, even when you learned your mother tongue, you learned from the basics only, right? You like whatever you talk mother tongue, it didn't start from one day only. Gradually you learned. Here also, everything will be taught in a very gradual, slow manner. I'm not going to start off with what is FIFO directly. I'm going to start off with teaching what is module mux, how to code module mux, what are the inputs, how to write end module, how to write the logic, everything I'm going to teach from scratch. So if you have that interest, you will not face any difficulty at all. What is going to help you here is batch strength will be smaller. I have seen places where the batch strength can be 100 also. In 100, you don't get that attention, right? Can you get that attention? No, right? Since here we'll have a smaller batches of 25, 30 maximum, it's easy for me to give time and make sure that your doubts are clear. So you don't have to worry. Even if you don't know the definition of Verilog, no problem. In 2 months, you would be perfect with Verilog. Okay.
In these 2 weeks, sir, we are better to concentrate on digital design. Something.
No, we have everything planned. We will tell you what to do at any point of time. You don't need to do anything outside of. Okay. Yes. Yes, we will be teaching industry standard projects. We will let you know. We'll let you know what to purchase. We'll give you the books, everything. So mostly you don't have to purchase any books. Any other questions? Okay. Those attending online, any other questions?
Yes, sir. One question.
Yeah, please tell me.
Sir, you said right, like, see, online course are like those videos will be accessible for only limited period.
Yeah.
So, like, see, for experienced people are like working people, so they will not get more time to spend
No,
on this
experienced people,
course, right?
it will be e-learning course for you, so you will be getting access to the complete course duration.
But yeah, if like I'm interested in this online or offline course that time, like, so if provide the like training material for longer time means that would be helpful.
Yeah, for you we'll provide. See, for any working professionals who are attending only over the weekends, you will be getting the
Yeah.
complete course access for all the videos for complete course duration.
For longer time, right?
Yes, of course, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Sir, is that two things like e-learning is different and weekend batches are different?
Actually,
Or
both
both
are
the same?
both are similar. Both are, I would say, same.
Only?
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine. Right, sir, Srini sir, I'll be connecting you through the number, I mean through WhatsApp
Yeah.
link.
So
I was the
let's do one
guy
thing. You can
who sent
message
it.
them. I will be available after 5:30 p.m. So I'll talk to you around that time because I have one
No
more session.
problem, sir. No problem, sir. I'll connect you at 5:30. I've already messaged them.
Yeah.
They said they check your appointment and get back. That's fine, sir. I'll talk to you in the evening.
Sure. Any other
Thank you so much
questions?
for your.
No issues. I mean, it was pleasure. Okay. Yeah.
My
Any other?
pleasure, sir. I mean, so informative, sir. Very informative. Thank you so much.
Okay, fine. If you others don't have any questions, we'll end the session. I have given the number, right? If you have any doubts, please feel free to send WhatsApp to that number. You can even talk to me, or you can even talk to our team for any further information. Okay, thank you everyone.
Thank you.